The vision is clear.
Humble my SDGs and doing
Sustainable.
Bread with no butter, sad face, say no to the hunger. Shanda, so tomorrow could be better. If no one's gonna do it, then you better do it, Weka. Manya, just to make it dollar. You're a people, you're a boss, and you.
If we want to achieve our SDGs, the UN should include the youth, because as we are right now, the youth are the future of tomorrow. Encountering also gender equality and all the issues that are involved, I think we can achieve a lot. For example, the youth today have come up with a lot of ideas and they are very innovative. With that, I think we can achieve a lot by making sure that as young as they are, we accept them and give them the right direction to give us the information that we need. For example, in America as it is, the youth are learning about robots at an age of 5 years. And if we enculture that at an early age, we can cultivate better people, better homes, and a better future.
I want to thank you very much for accepting to be with us here at the first Provincial Youth SDG Summit in Marondera, Mashonaland East Province of Zimbabwe. This is a unique youth gathering anchored on the thematic focus entitled Youth Driving Devolution of Global Goals. It is our deliberate effort to complement the government's commitment towards the implementation of Sustainable Development Goals through the devolution program, which is largely founded on the principle of empowering provincial government councils to spearhead economic and social development projects in their areas by leveraging on local resources. This summit, with an agenda to take the Sustainable Development Goals to grassroots level, is being hosted by the Zimbabwe Youth SDGs and its various development partners and supported by the government of Zimbabwe through the Office of the President and Cabinet, which forms part of the steering committee that provides overall guidance and strategic leadership to the SDGs implementation process. The Minister of Public Service, Labour and Social Welfare, which chairs the SDG Technical Committee that spearheads the coordination technical process as well as providing technical backstopping. The Minister of Youth, Sports and Arts and Recreation, Minister of Higher and Tertiary Education, Innovation, Science and Development Technology, the entire United Nations system in Zimbabwe, and of course, other key stakeholders who are part of the national building agenda. As we all know that strong partnerships are essential to scaling up the pace for achieving Agenda 2030 for sustainable development. Just a brief description of the Zimbabwe Youth SDGs in case some among us might not be aware. Zimbabwe Youth SDG is a non-profit making youth-led organization that promotes active youth participation in the nation to attain sustainable development goals, which resonates with our Vision 2030 for national economic transformation. Zimbabwe Youth SDG has engaged young people from the country's 10 provinces in different programs and projects which realize the establishment of SDG community chapters and special interest groups which promote youth engagement at community level. The ZY SDG works closely with government through responsible ministries that drive different SDGs to ensure full compliance to the policies and regulations of the government. Zimbabwe Youth SDG has participated in various programs ranging from coordinating the maiden National Youth SDG Summit in 2019, being part of the national coordinating team for the 6th African Regional Forum on SDGs, which Zimbabwe hosted in February 2020 in Victoria Falls, where 200 young people participated on a 2-day science and technology bootcamp. It also created several platforms for constructive dialogues on peace and security, gender-based violence, economic transformation and development. For more details, please find some time to go through our website, which is www.zimbabwe.org.zw, or follow us on our social media handles at ZimbabweSDG, both the Twitter and Facebook. As we embark on this collective journey to build an inclusive and peaceful society, we should pledge that no one will be left behind. It is therefore imperative to be cognizant that these set provincial youth SDGs are a necessary vehicle for doing away with the centralized governance model, but put a thrust on promoting locally driven development, improving the delivery of public services, and promoting national integration and peace while recognizing diversity through ensuring equitable participation and inclusion of young people in sustainable development programs. It is our quest as Zimbabwe Youth SDG to promote knowledge sharing, awareness of the development programs in our nation. We have therefore convened experts from different sectors whom we shall give an opportunity to share their various services and how young people are included, and also whether there are spaces for their full participation in these various sectors. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to apologize for a delayed kicking off of the program. It was due to some logistical programs. However, my name is David Zezai, and I'll be moderating the whole session, the dialogue, and also the presentations. At this juncture, I'm sure we have all get an awareness of our program, which has been delayed, of course. So for the time being, I would like to invite the Executive Director of the Zimbabwe Youth SDG to introduce the special guests in our midst, Mr. Jasper Mangwana.
Thank you so much, Mr. Zizai. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. We hope everyone is happy and excited. We are also very excited to be here in Mashonaland East Province. I think this is a youth thing. Is that so?
Yes.
So if it's a youth thing, you should start with the youth activity. I don't see the energy. Is the energy there? Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Mama to pick up Dara. We've got the whole team going on. We want to thank everyone who's here. My name is Jasper, of course, is introduced by our programs manager, Mr. David Zezai. We greatly appreciate this opportunity to be here in Mashonaland East Province and the supporting partners that are here. It's not easy to be heard as a young person from experience that we have seen. You knock at doors at times. Sometimes they don't even listen to what you say because they think you are a young person. I think we've experienced that. But want to thank His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, President Emerson Mnangagwa, because he's been advocating for the open door policy to say, let's engage and let's continue to engage. So we greatly appreciate the commitment by the government. It's not easy to get a representative and representation from government if your agenda is not genuine. So we want to thank the government today, because we are seeing people coming from their institutions to come and engage with young people, because we believe for us to achieve the 2030 agenda, engagement is key. Why are we here? Before I introduce our guests here, we are here because of the commitments that we've made to the 17 global goals that were taken aboard by the member states of the United Nations, so that by 2030 we should be able to see a better world. These global goals did not come from the United States of America, but they came from contributions among member states of the world. Zimbabwe joined the United Nations in 1980. ever since we took our independence. From then, Zimbabwe has been a member and contributed a lot in terms of the structures and establishments of the United Nations. So we believe this agenda to be attainable, young people must play an active, critical role. Why? Because we have the energy. Simba tinaro, innovation itinani, tinayo. Sakana tichida kuti budirire nyika ende mbere chero kuminda kwatiri kutaurako. Zvimwe zvinoda simba. Sekuru chero akata plus, vazukuru vanofana kuuya vachibetsera nokurima. Saka this development agenda includes everyone has to play a role. But it's very difficult to liberate someone who's got a mindset that is different. It has to start from the mind. That's the reason why even our own Minister of Youth, yakati, my youth ariko, yamzo apply mari. Some never even applied, you know that? Yes. But wakai wana wakana zuri easy because munu mind yakano gocha, kuna chinodi, chinobuda. We have our national development strategy from the Ministry of Finance and Economic Development. Someone who ignore, will not even bother to read. But you're a young person. As per YouTube people, suppose Kinimbi unotozana information kitapa picture mwana tirukusisiwa. But what benefit does it have to your own life in terms of development? It's okay because ma socialite ka anga kuna space, it's okay. Mwana tozwa baba shina tano no vingwana yugasina coffee. Tungo kwa zote akatoshowa mwana wese yakatotwa batu. Sakatoitika but information hiyo chicha inochinja mupenyu wako. But it's a national development strategy. Yakapresent on our tuning movement is zero. It's the Ministry of Public Service, Labor and Social Welfare. You know, it's a community development. In a Pukura, but no information will be there. Are we together? So that's the reason why we're bringing them here today. We as young people, I think from now onwards, we don't need to be complaining. Let's do what we can. That we cannot do, someone else will do it for us. So we need to engage to know the important offices. Tatambo za makumbira makuru province, vazobatikana. Tata za makumbira makansela, na ndara town clerk, vazobatikana. Vani hiyo watu fana kuvaziva. Nema kei noti kana mikana ichuya province. Toko inoni, kanosikira. Saka sawa moro sawa jiwa ignoma, kuseni chuti mdara rigada rigyo. Mangwana jana yashi takabata bachi mtreshi, tunaweza mayuthi kuma university, province kuna mtazinisa mayuthi 100. Cha only 15 points. Uno kuna kusara. Why? Because you don't know the important people in your community. So today is a great day and we are so happy and we were excited and we appreciate the welcoming that we've got in Mashonaland East Province. I'm not going to take much time. I'll introduce our guests who are here not because they don't have anything to do, but they've prioritized to engage with young people. We want this engagement to be constructive. Tisuka vanuti zvikanetsanetsa kana zvakadaro haivhiyiwi. Because my state nenejika asatidaro nemake because development demunhu wo kana pane patakonana patasina kuwanana tinowanana tichitaura zvakanaka nokuti ma SDGs anobata munhu wose ndiane role yokuplaya. In my favorite SDG there are two. SDG number 5 here, gender equality. Tinosvika kupi tichirowana naimo chero navasikana vedu tichidaro tinosvika kupi navakomana. We need a generation that is going to be a generation that advocates for the end of gender-based violence. And a generation that is going to say we need equal opportunities in communities. When we see women, we see our sisters, we're equal together as a community, as a family. But it only starts in the home where we stay. As we acknowledge 16 days, the gender-based violence. Climate action, ndefunga nasimawa, tinevari panapa vachaintroducer, vayane miti, vatibetsera kudonata miti. Vachiti 100 tunodzara miti nemaki ukaita mamengo yako 10 payadi gore rikapera haumbozazere muchipika up chinotengesa mutauni asi haidi mvura yakawanda bhozi unongochera ma 20 liters uchidira ende vanhu vari kutima miti vamwe vari kudzvara vari kuberesa moto zvakasiyana siyana. We need to look at those things. They are quite important. So I'm going to introduce our guests who are here today. My apologies for those that I did not I'll also try to find a way how you come in. But over and above, I want to appreciate the presence of the representative from the Ministry of Public Service, Labor and Social Welfare. Minister of Public Service, Labor and Social Welfare is the custodian yema SDGs. Do aridzivana zvema SDGs. Do aridzivana employer foot. I'm not a Public Service Commission. Ivo ndo varidzivani. Vai, makazoona kuti age yedu yekurizana yakawedzerwa to 65. Mama kazona. Injozi muzvaina zvekutsika. Ivo vanhu ndokuti kana tachikumbirawo iteoka zvimabasa zviri pasi zvinoda simba izvi. Kana muri muda maclick, muda marana, tichikura kuti age dziseka kana pa 30. nokuti muna 30 anomanya ndo ministry yacho iri pakati pedu. Toda kutenda Professor Mavhima vachitumira representative napermanent secretary vedu vamasanga. Tina Mr. Nemara, he has come from the Ministry of Public Service, Labour and Social Welfare. He is the Sustainable Development Goals Contract in the ministry. Let's give him a round of applause. You can meet the people, Mr. Nemara. Vari papapo toda kuvatenda vakatapedza. Munhu wese unoudza kuti kana uchida basa kupublic service unono apply sei upinda pawaiting list sei because hatina shuwaka tokuna mukamangwana hurumende ichi tiri kuemployer iwo graduate associate registered. Pakati pedu zvekare tine one of the most highly esteemed offices which is respected by many because kana usina bag chero kukafiwa ka hauna sei yakadi yakawanda. Muna nemari ndiani ngachiti imbomirai box tozoona mangwana kana ndazoita free toziya nenyama handiti. We've got the ministry represented, the ministry, our own honorable Professor Mtuli Ngube. We've got Chief Economist in the Ministry of Finance and Economic Development, Madam Chaturika Varipagaripedu. You can stand up and meet our people. Gender equality, she's putting on green, which is the youth color. We greatly appreciate that. Also, amongst us, we've got representatives that have come from tertiary institutions. We've got our staff, members of staff that have been recommended to come here under the Ministry of Higher and Tertiary Education. Yavamurwira, Chibetserwa, na Professor Chakwira. Tudakuti staff zedu dzauya dzavana vasumuke tuonekwe tese. We are from universities, tine Marondera University, ne Rushinga, Kushinga, Figelele. Toda kuti vazviintroduce vajera kutaura nevana. Kana uri lecturer huna problem.
Maskati ini nanda zvintroduce hangu kekutanga kuti ndonzi sekuru. Zvinonda kuchitaura zita rangu. Ndonzi Musunza Tafumanei, Chief Warden Kushinga Pikelera Polytechnic.
Makati kuwasikana ndambozviintroduce hangu zvekare asi ndirizokudzongorera kuti zvinodzidzongorwa une simba. Ndabva Kushinga Pikelera Polytechnic. Tinonzi Miss Justina Zvukutu Kushinga Pikelera Dream Student Affairs Committee. Saka ndauya nevana samai vaperekedza vana.
Thank you very much. Morning, afternoon, I'm not sure, to all once again. My name is Precious Hove. Ndauya Marondera University. Tauya tiri vaviri. Ini kana ndiri kubasa vanenge vachiti zvavo Dr. Hove. Ndauya nomumwe wangu akagara uko vanonzi Mr. Mkuni. Saka tiri vaviri taperekedza vana.
Thank you so much. Vedwe tinotenda Kushinga Pikelele vari pakati pedu, Marondera University iri pakati pedu. Chiremba tinokugamuchirai. Tinonamatawo kuti mumwe musitizoitawo vana chiremba handizvo here. Kana uchibatanidza zvinhu zvifambe. Pakati pedu zvekare toda kuintroduce the youth bank. Thank mablesa ari pakati pani pedu. Toziva munoziva mablesa enyuka yemurodha aya. Tine mamwe mablesa ari formal ari pakati pedu vanonzi the Empower Bank. I think you can just stand up and introduce yourself. We'll give you a short time to make a small presentation.
For Kutsaimanda, the loans officer of Empower Bank, tisine chona nema loans enyu kuti zvakamira sei kuti kwanise kuzokupai mari yacho. Pandina yanonzi Chiedza Moshiwa. Achita zvino.
Thank you so much. I think the Empower Bank is here. As you all take note that we have started the decade of action, which means each and every one of us has to play a role in contributing towards the development of Zimbabwe. All talk and no action does not result in anything. We need to have the action on the ground because we are in the decade of action. I'll give this time to the MC of the day, Mr. Zezai. Thank you so much.
Let's clap hands for Mr. Mangwana, his our words, and also the excellent introductory remarks, which I think he has just given us an overview of the Sustainable Development Goals and their background and the current focus. He has also taken us through and give us an appreciation of the opportunities that the youth have to explore in our country. Once again, thank you very much, Mr. Mangwana. So it's a youth program, but at the end of the day, we want to benefit as much as we can. It's anchored on sustainable development goals. I just want to ask a question here so that at least I'll be doing that right through the process.
Someone can win a prize.
Yeah, someone can win a prize. Someone can win a prize. Vanhu vajara ngosumudzwa nemaprofeti ka. Vachiudzwa zveupenyu. Saka, okay, tichatanga kusimudza mukoma imimi. Yes, mongotiudzawo kuti how many sustainable development goals do we have and what is your favorite goal and why?
Okay. How are you, everyone?
Introduction.
Okay. I'm Blessing Magaza from Marondera University of Agricultural Sciences. I'm doing environmental science and sustainability. We have 17 SDGs. My favorite is Zero Hunger, which is the number 2. Since we are an agricultural institution, so we have to make sure we vanish the problems of hunger.
Okay, that's quite amazing. Let's clap hands for him once again. Thank you very much. So ladies and gentlemen, I want to take this opportunity to invite Ms. Tinemara from the Ministry of Public Service, Labor and Social Welfare. You will take us through issues around the implementation framework of sustainable development goals in our country. So let's clap hands for him while he take up the podium.
In the global space, there is so much hate. Why do we fight?
That today we're facing many, many challenges, and the continent is not short of them. Whether we're talking about climate change or the conflicts we have, the lack of employment. And so therefore your voice and your representation is extremely important right now. But what is even more important is the leadership. We need to have this intergenerational co-leadership, that it's not about us handing a baton to you, because we're not going anywhere fast. I think that we have a role to play by coming behind to support you who have the vision and the energy, and we that have the experience that has really taught us what lessons we could pass on. But we're there that when you slightly come back, we push you forward. That's what we had, and that's what you deserve.
How are you, everyone? It's my pleasure to meet you. You know, there's something that was troubling my mind when we went out there. I saw that because of time, I'm almost running out of time of being a youth. But my sister there, she said, don't worry, in Zimbabwe you can be 50 and still be a youth. So, yeah, so I'm glad to be a youth. I'm not going to spend much time. We all know that we have 17 SDGs, 169 targets, 232 indicators. SDGs is a result framework for Agenda 2030, transforming our world agenda that was adopted in 2015 by member states to the United Nations. So the result framework, to see whether we are progressing, we have those 232 indicators and the targets. So I'm going to quickly go through the implementation framework for SDGs in Zimbabwe. Okay. after the adoption of SDGs, there are no new institutions that were put in place in Zimbabwe to spearhead the implementation. SDGs are riding on existing institutions and the government programs. It's only that they are being aligned to fit into the national strategies. After the adoption of SDGs in Zimbabwe, we were implementing Agenda 2030 through the ZIM asset. That was from 2013 to 2018. Sorry, there's it's from 2013 to 2018, not 2020. Then, after ZIM asset, our head of state launched the Vision 2030, which is aimed at promoting our economy so that we can be an upper middle income society by 2030. So, the Vision 2030 has got 5 pillars. First one being governance, macroeconomic stability and financial re-engagement, inclusive growth, infrastructure and utilities, then social development, and cross-cutting themes. On cross-cutting themes, we have the youth, women, we have sports, arts, and culture. There are many cross-cutting issues. So we are saying that those 5 pillars are informed by SDGs. And how are we implementing Vision 2030? We started by the Transitional Stabilization Program, which is about to come to an end. I think last year we did the midterm review. So this year there will be a final review to see how far have we gone in development in our country. So the TSP, you will see that some of the pillars in the TSP were aligned to SDGs. Now we are going to 2021, where we are implementing our first national development strategy that is running from 2021 to 2025. After that, we will have the NDS2. And I will just highlight, Ms. Chaturuka will explain more on the national development strategies. So, the strategy which we are going to implement from 2021 to 2025 has got 14 pillars or 14 priorities. The first priority is economic growth and stability. And we have our goal number 8, which is decent work and economic growth. So you will see that the result framework for the NDS will be aligned to the SDGs. And we have been working with all the committees that were put in place to develop the national development strategy, so that we ensure alignment of our development strategies to the SDGs. Why? Because at the end of the day, you can't compare yourself with yourself. At the end of the day, we will compare how we are faring against other countries. So our national development strategies will be aligned to the indicators of Agenda 2030. And for number 1, there's goal number 8, goal number 1, goal number 10. And to those who are well conversant with the SDGs, you see that most of the SDGs, or I can say all SDGs, are interconnected. They are interlinked. You cannot separate goal number 17 from goal number 1. You cannot separate goal number 4 from goal number 5. So all the goals are interconnected. By implementing one goal, you will see that you are making progress in another goal. So there is goal number 1, goal number 8, goal number 10 on economic growth and stability. But you will see that you can't achieve that without goal number 16 on strong institutions and peace. You can't achieve that. So they are all interlinked. Priority to food security and nutrition. Goal number 1, goal number 2, and so on. In Zimbabwe, after the adoption of SDGs, there were consultations that were made or that were undertaken to see how we can localize the agenda, because we cannot just take it as it is and say we are implementing. We have to localize, looking at our development level and looking at the resources that we have in our country. So, Zimbabwe prioritized 10+1 SDGs. 10+1. Yeah, we are used to that language, 10+1. SDG number 16 is very important. So that's the +1 goal. Goal number 16. Because you can't achieve all those without goal number 16. So at first we prioritized 10 and realized that for us to achieve these 10, we must have peace. We must have strong institutions. Therefore, we have +1. These goals are in their order of priority for Zimbabwe. Our first priority is goal number 8, which is decent work and economic growth. Some people will say, what informed the prioritization? It was informed from our development plans, our national development plans. That's what was used to prioritize the SDGs like that. And consultations with the civil society organization, the private sector, and other stakeholders. But what are we saying? We are not only saying that we are implementing these 10+1 goals. We are implementing all 17 SDGs. But we have realized that if we put more emphasis, or if we focus more on these 10+1 goals, we will achieve the other 6 goals. I hope we are still together. Yes. Yes. For easy coordination, an implementing framework was put in place where we have the cabinet on top. Why the cabinet? Because Agenda 2030, the adoption was done by the heads of states. So we have OPC playing an oversight role on the implementation of SDGs nationwide. Then we have a steering committee. This committee is chaired by the chief secretary to the president and cabinet. And it's comprising all permanent secretaries from all government ministries and heads of development agencies like UN, the country representative of UN, and the heads of private sector associations. Then we have a technical committee. This committee is chaired by the permanent secretary for public service, labor and social welfare. This committee is responsible for overseeing implementation of SDGs at technical level in the country. And there are permanent secretaries from all government ministries, the private sector, the civil society organizations. They are all represented. I think for the civil society organizations, we have a reference group on SDGs that is led by Poverty Reduction Forum Trust. Then we have a coordinating committee. Coordination of SDGs is not only led by the Ministry of Public Service, Labor and Social Welfare, but Public Service, Labor and Social Welfare is the lead coordinator, but it's being assisted by the Ministry of Health and Child Care, Ministry of Lands, Agriculture, Water and Rural Resettlement. They are all leading in coordinating implementation of SDGs. Then in the coordinating committee, there's Ministry of Finance. I think Mr. Mangwana said, you can have the brains, you can have everything, but without resources, you can't do anything. So the Ministry of Finance is playing a critical role. And we also have the National Statistics Agents, ZIMSTAT, in that committee. Then the Ministry of Labor and Social Welfare is leading Cluster 1. Cluster 1 is coordinating implementation of Goal number 1, Goal number 4, Goal number 5, Goal 8, 16, and 17. Then Ministry of Health is leading Cluster 2, that is implementing Goal number 3, 6, 10, 11, and 12. And Ministry of Lands, Goal number 2, Goal 7, Goal 9, Goal 13, Goal 14, and Goal 15. So we have formed clusters. Under Zim Asset, there were 5 clusters. But after Zim Asset, we discovered that no, we must continue the issue of implementing through clusters. Then we just decided to have the 3 coordinating ministries sharing the goals that are relevant to their operations. And we are saying all government ministries, all civil society organizations that are implementing goals, that are undertaking programs and projects aimed at achieving goal number 1, goal number 4, goal number 5, goal 8, goal 16, goal 17. They are led by Ministry of Labor. All organizations that are implementing goals aimed at achieving, that are implementing projects aimed at achieving goal number 3, 6, 10, 11, and 12, they fall under Cluster 2, that is led by Ministry of Health. So we have engaged the civil society organizations, the private sectors, and encouraged them to join the clusters so that there will be easy coordination and reporting. Then after that, we have other initiatives that are taking place. We have WASH, the National Coordinating Unit. They are coordinating goal number 6. Then we have other committees that are prioritizing. We can say they are prioritizing at least one goal, and some have even chosen to prioritize certain indicators from one goal. Then there is a National Steering Committee on SDG number 4 on education. We have Justice, Law and Order sector, which is implementing goal number 16 on strong institutions and peace. We also have the Parliament of Zimbabwe. This one is very important. Why? Because it plays an oversight role on all national programs that are being implemented. And at Parliament level, we have 2 committees. The first one is the Thematic Committee on SDGs. Then there is another committee that is made up of all chairpersons. Okay, for the Thematic Committee on SDGs, it's made up mainly of senators. And the expanded committee is made up of all chairpersons of various thematic committees in Parliament. Saka, we can see that there is a political will in SDGs implementation in Zimbabwe. vese vari kutarisira kuti we must achieve all the goals. Parliament yakakoshera futi pakuti ndo inoshanda ne-community through my constituencies. Saka they are playing a very critical role. Then, as part of my stakeholder engagements, like what I've mentioned earlier, that we have engaged the private sector, civil society organizations. I think Mr. Mangwana vanogona kupupura kuti he attended many meetings organized by the government on my SDGs. We are saying patikuita ma SDGs, government haikwanise kuachieve yega ma SDGs pasina civil society, pasina private sector, pasina academia, pasina vanhu vese. Why? Because the principle underlying SDGs is of leaving no one behind. So we don't want to leave anyone behind per implementation or per benefit through implementation of SDGs. So we all have roles to play so that nyika yedu inokwanisa kuachieve pama SDGs. And we are planning to conduct provincial consultative workshops aimed mainly at raising awareness. And we have started engagements with the other civil society organizations, including the organizers of this event. But next year, we must work together to make sure that vanhu vese vaziva pamusoro pema SDGs. Because pane ndaiteerera hangu radio nchizwa vamwe vachibvunza kuti do you know my SDGs? And we have realized kuti vamwe vanhu vakawanda vasati vakuaziva, saka they still need kuti tiende tichinokurukura nevanhu pamusoro pema SDGs. Patrukwenda kuma provincial consultations, we are mainly targeting my local authorities, my traditional leaders, women organizations, youth organizations, people with disabilities, civil society organizations, private sector, and other stakeholders, including my citizens. And I think because of the advent of COVID-19 pandemic, we had stopped my cluster meetings. But very soon we hope kuti zvinoita nani kuti titange ma cluster meetings. Saka through your coordinators, I think you can discuss on how you can contribute to my clusters. Then, for us to know that we are making progress, I think there is great need for measurement. You cannot improve what you cannot measure. So for us to know where we are, we have to measure kuti timbori papi pama SDGs. Saka, we have been producing some reports on progress on SDGs, and mainly we are using statistics from my official surveys that are produced by Zinstat, my surveys and census. We are using administrative data from my ministries. I think for many organizations, usually for example, civil society organizations, they collaborate with my ministries. For example, vakada kuya vachipa chikafu, vanogona kuya ku Ministry of Public Service, Labor and Social Welfare kuti vabatane social welfare department vaende kunopa chikafu. Saka we assume that through that partnership we will have statistics through the ministry. So my administrative records in my ministries anenge ato capture all that. My ministries anenge collaborate with my CSOs. And we are moving from our traditional way of reporting on SDGs. We are saying for SDGs, there is a need to use non-traditional data. So we are considering reports that are produced by civil society organizations, by private sectors, and other organizations. But we are saying we cannot just take those reports and say they are now national reports. There is a process that they have to go through. They must be verified by ZIMstat. Why is it that? Because you see, there are some organizations that are going to produce a certain report. This is what is happening in Zimbabwe. So this is not a true indication of what is happening on the ground. But some, they will be satisfying my needs, my funders have. So we are saying for those statistics to be used, they must be verified by ZIMstat. So kana mune ma reports amuno producer and you think they are very important pakuona progress iri kuitika munyika pama SDGs. You can engage us, you can engage ZIMstat and see how we can use those statistics. Then I think very soon we'll be having our first SDGs progress report that is looking at progress that was made from 2015 up to part of 2020. It's now being finalized. I think we received the final draft last week and we are just expecting within a few weeks that report will be launched. And that report, consultations, could draft away, report even through validation. Validation, I think we had provincial consultations about 2 weeks ago. We covered 3 provinces. We had 3 meetings, but they were covering all the 10 provinces that in Zimbabwe. We also have another important report, the country voluntary national review that was done in 2017 on SDGs. And this one was mainly looking at the preparedness of our country in implementing SDGs. We also have 2 voluntary local reviews that were launched last year in February. That were launched this year, 2020, in February at the Africa Regional Forum on Sustainable Development. That was done for Harare Metropolitan and Victoria Falls. Why am I talking of reports? I think we said we have 232 indicators on SDGs as a result framework. Not only in Zimbabwe, data is still a challenge on reporting SDGs. But through ZIMstat, we have been looking at how can we improve data availability in our country. And I think many initiatives are taking place to ensure that we have data to report on SDGs. But currently, we can only report for about 50.7% of all the 232 indicators. I think this table is showing the data status for SDGs in Zimbabwe. And where there is red, it shows that we still have a long way to go. On goal number 14, you can see that there is 0. We don't have data to report on that goal, but we have discussed and decided that as Zimbabwe, we may not have a sea, we may not have oceans, but we have our own water bodies which must be preserved. So we are currently customizing the indicators that are on goal number 14 so that they suit our national context. And this one is only showing data availability on the prioritized SDGs. In the implementation of SDGs, we have discovered that prioritization is key. Of course, we can implement all the 17 SDGs, but if we say we are not prioritizing, we are looking at all of them at once, we'll see that by 2030, no much progress would have taken place. So that's why we prioritized. And I think that's one of the best practices. Other countries that we have interacted with, some are prioritizing 1 SDG, some 4 SDGs. So prioritization is key. And alignment of SDGs to national development strategies and programs and projects is also very important. It is also important to have specific interventions if you want to achieve SDGs. For example, we have food deficit mitigation program that is specifically targeted to those households that are food insecure. The government cannot achieve SDGs on its own, so there is need to strengthen partnerships. So partnerships are very important. I thank you.
Let's clap our hands, ladies and gentlemen. That was a very amazing presentation.
Better off because finally the millennials will take charge. I think we are the most connected generation in human history. We are the most innovative. We're better educated. We're the coolest generation. And I think that will happen in the next 25 years only if we really build our generational collective power and our collective culture and our Pan-African identity. You know, beyond our ethnic, tribal, religious affiliation, we have to put...
One of our very important guests who forms part of the 12th Chapter Commission. And this is a key arm of the government, which plays a very critical role in the implementation process of SDGs. We have members from the Zimbabwe Anti-Corruption Act who have just joined us. So we just want to acknowledge their presence. Can we just clap hands to welcome them? Coming back to the presentation that we have just been given, that was a very, very important presentation, as we all appreciate that the SDGs, that's a global blueprint. It just gives us a focus on our direction or economic trajectory as a globe. But as a country, we all need now to customize and have our in-country strategy, which feeds into the global blueprint. So this was part of his presentation. Okay, my sister, can you just tell us 2 national priorities in the National Development Strategy 1? Just 2 national priorities of your choice from what he has presented. Like I said, we'll be having episodes of examinations.
Greetings to you all. I'm Rudoma Kisa from Marondera University, and I'm doing my environmental science degree. So, from what it just said, the national priority We have goal number 8, which is decent work and economic growth. And we also prioritize the plus one goal, which is goal number 16, peace, justice, and strong institutions.
Okay, let's clap our hands. That's a very excellent answer for a question that I haven't asked yet. You have just given us the SDG priorities that Zimbabwe focuses on instead of the national priorities, which forms part of the National Development Strategy 1, which will run from 2021 to 2025. I just need people to pay attention as presenters will be giving their speech so that at least we move forward together. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to help me acknowledge the presence of a representative from the Minister of Finance and Economic Development as she take up the floor and also take us through a presentation. Miss Chaturika, Madam, please come up front. Let's clap hands.
Okay, let me take this opportunity to acknowledge. Okay, all protocol observed, because I will not be able to mention everyone here present. But all the same, my presentation is on National Development Strategy 1 and an overview of the opportunities for the youth. This is my presentation, and I'll try to make it as short as possible, but at the same time, explain the details that are necessary. All right, that's the presentation outline, which I will not dwell much on. Then we are talking about the Vision 2030. We are saying that all the national development strategies that we will implement together with the TSP, they are all speaking to the Vision 2030, which was enunciated by the President of Zimbabwe, which says we want to move towards an upper middle income by 2030. And we are saying that for us to realize the Vision 2030, we have 3 national documents that we will implement. The first one being the TSP, the Transitional Stabilization Program, which was implemented from the 4th of October 2018 to December 31, 2020. So it's coming to an end next month. That's when it's coming to an end. That's why now people are now popularizing the NDS. The National Development Strategy 1 is a successor program to the TSP. The TSP was a foundation program. It was implemented because it was meant to lay the foundation that was necessary for us to implement the development trajectory. We are saying that in 2018, we had a lot of macroeconomic instabilities. We had a lot of high inflation. We had also problems of high unemployment. We also had problems of money, printing money, and the treasury bill issuances. So for us to implement national development in that particular environment, it was going to be very difficult. So the TSP was meant to address those problems first, to lay the foundation. If the economy is now stable, like you have seen, now our exchange rate has stabilized at around 81, right? And we have seen also that the prices have stabilized. Of late, if you have checked over the past couple of months, the prices have stabilized. So those were the objectives of the Transitional Stabilization Program, to lay the foundation for the NDS, for the National Development Trajectory. So that was the objective of the TSP. And the NDS 1, which were now, those are the goals of the vision, goals and targets, which you will be able to go through. That is not an issue. Then we are saying that as we are moving towards the Vision 2030, we said the first step was the TSP. The second step is now the National Development Strategy 1, which will run from 2021 to 2025. So we are saying the National Development Strategy will, requires us to take bold strategies bold interventions, bold programs for us to realize the Vision 2030. And we are saying this diagram that we are saying this was the first step, the TSP, which ran from 2018 to 2020. Then NDS1 will run from 2021 to 2025. Then soon after the 2025 NDS1, we will have another NDS that will run from 2026 to 2030. And the table that is above there, we are showing the graduation that we have in terms of our national incomes. As we move, we are saying in 2020, we are around 1,000. Our per capita income is around 1,156. But as we come to the end of 2025, we are expecting to have our incomes per person. When we say per capita, we are saying the gross national income, the income for the whole country divided by the population. That's the gross national income. That income, we are expecting by 2025, it should have increased to 3,199, which would then further increase to 4,026 in 2030 if we implement our strategies as per plan. Then the steps towards realization of the Vision 2030, those are what I have explained already, that we have those 3 national documents. I'll try to rush, then I will explain later. What I want to share more is the budget, the allocations that you have received as youth. That's what I would dwell much on. But we are saying, as we were developing the National Strategy 1, we made reference to the SDG, the Agenda 2063, the Agenda 2030. We also had our TSP midterm review, as well as the provincial and district profiles. We made reference to all those documents to come up with our national development strategy. Because we were saying our national development strategy, it should speak, or it should be in line with those other regional and local documents as well. And we are saying the national development strategy was in line with the integrated management results framework, where we are saying the IRBM is a management approach where the plan that we have is financed by our budget, and it is also it also has a personnel management component where you have all the human resources component that you require to achieve that particular goal or plan. You will also be provided, as well as the M&E framework, where you will be able to monitor whatever you are doing, as well as the management information systems. So that is the wholesome component of the IRBM. That is the pictogram of the IRBM concept, where we are saying we have the integrated development planning, which is now what we are referring to as the NDS. That was the planning process where we were planning what we want to achieve over the next 5 years. And now we also have the results-based budgeting. The results-based budgeting, we are saying what we have planned in the national plan is what will be funded by our budgets, our national budget. I think you know that yesterday the Minister of Finance presented a budget. That budget was speaking to the national development strategy. What we planned to do in the NDS is what was being budgeted for. And we also have the personal performance system, where we are saying, you have heard my colleague being referred to, that there is public service, labor, and social welfare. The public service, labor, and social welfare, in conjunction with the PSC, they will ensure that all the human resource requirements that are needed for us to achieve the NDS targets are provided for, so that the PSC will be providing the personnel, that is the personnel requirements. And we also have the monitoring and evaluation. We also have a unit in the OPC, where that's where it's headed But all the departments, the ministry departments and agencies, they have their M&E departments where they will track progress towards the plan or towards the SDG, whatever it is that they will be monitoring. Then we also have the management information system where we have the component where we have the whole of government performance management system. Whatever that is happening in Ministry of Health, for instance, Ministry of Finance, for instance, public service level, they are all inputted into that particular system. So that one, it helps us to check whether we are replicating on anything. And so we eliminate duplication of duties. One. Also, it enables us to see the progress that we are making as we are implementing our SDGs and our national budget, etc. So those are the 5 components of the IRBM. Why did we choose the IRBM? IRBM was also implemented in those other countries. And in all those countries, they had an average growth of at least 6%. That's why we have now adopted the IRBM approach, because it has been tested elsewhere and it has shown results. All these other countries that have implemented the IRBM, they have registered at least a GDP growth of at least 6%. Then the NGS crafting process, we are saying we have 14. My colleague has said this. We have 14 thematic areas. The 14 thematic areas, we have economic growth and stability, we have transport, infrastructure and utilities, we have governance, we have moving the economy up the value chain and structural transformation, we have housing delivery, we have devolution, we have health and well-being, we have human capital, we have environment protection, climate resilience and natural resource management, where I think my colleagues who were saying they like climate action, the SDG on climate. I think that's your area. And we also have food security and nutrition. We have image building and international re-engagement. We have social protection. We have digital economy, where most youth are the activists in digital economy. And also we have a whole chapter for the youth and culture. So when we were coming up with these priority areas were prioritized at a higher level. The permanent secretaries had a committee. They had a meeting to agree on these priority areas. And they saw that because we have a youthful population, we need to tap into the youth dividend for our economy to grow. So it was the reason why we had a chapter. We have a chapter on youth and culture. It's actually youth, gender and culture, arts, sports and culture. Now it was recoined later. So we dedicated this particular chapter to you youth, because we have seen the need to tap into these opportunities that you can bring on board for our national development. That is a picture of the processes that we have gone through in crafting the NDS. One key area that I need to emphasize on is the process that we have done, where we have had consultations. Unlike previous plans, the document was being crafted somewhere, then it will be brought to the people when it's completed. But this time around, the approach was changed completely. We had consultations where we went to the people. Actually, we didn't manage to go as far as the grassroots. Why? Because of the COVID. But we managed to engage various participants from the development partners, government departments, civil society organizations, disability organizations, in crafting these strategies and it was the responsibility of those thematic working group chairs to invite whoever they feel is necessary or is key for them to achieve the strategies that they will come up with. So it was an all-encompassing consultative process. Then that one I have said. Then the consultative process I have said. I think I have said much of this. Right. All right. Then on this one, we are now saying, when it comes to, unfortunately, the slide is cutting us a little bit, but down here we have programs. Then we have MGAs or ministries. Then we have sector or subsector. What we are saying here is ministries or any other organization, they implement programs, right? The programs will feed to the ministry outcomes. The ministry outcomes will feed to the sector outcomes. These sector outcomes are supposed to feed to the national priorities or the national outcomes, which will then feed to the NDS to the Vision 2030. That's the structure. And we are saying, whatever you do, it should belong somewhere. Whatever you do, it should belong to any one of those priorities. And you will see it. Or if you have a question, please do ask when I'm done. You will see that whatever actions, let's ensure that you play a role in achieving the national outcomes as well as the vision of the country. So we are saying the programs that you undertake, the projects that you undertake at your level, they should feed into a certain sector, which will feed ultimately to the national. So in coming up with this graph, we also came up with two results framework at sector level as well as at national level. At national level, we have the National Development Results Framework. At sector level, we have Sector Development Results Framework, where we are saying these priority areas, the chairs to these priority areas, together with their stakeholders, they came up with targets, annualized targets that they want to meet in 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025. So we have those results framework, which our M&E will follow or will track. So as we are implementing our SDGs, let's ensure that we are feeding to those various results framework, because that's the only way that we will track progress in these particular areas. Then those are some of the priority areas explained in detail. You can have a snapshot of that. That's a summary of the youth and culture priority area, where we are saying the chair of the priority area is the secretary, the permanent secretary for Ministry of Youth, Sports, Arts and Recreation. And she is co-chaired with the chair with the secretary for Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Services. And we are saying the focus area under youth, sports, culture and promotion, the desired outcomes that we want is to increase youth participation. That is what this one was extracted from the NDS, from the national plan. This is the NDS, the National Development Strategy. The desired outcome for the youth and youth, sports and culture is one. We want to increase youth participation in development, in development and decision-making process, and also we want to increase promotion and safeguarding of culture and creative practices, goods and services, increased levels of participation in sports and recreation activities, and increased social cohesion, sense of national identity and pride. Because this was as a result of some secretaries felt that you want to move away, or you want to be detached from the national pride. You are not priding in your own country or your own values. So that is one of the key issues that was noted. That as we are moving towards the implementation of NDS1, we need to prioritize youth and their national pride. They need to have a good Then that is environment protection, climate resilience, and natural resources. Then we are now on devolution and decentralization. As we are undertaking the provincial summit, it's part and it contributes to that, to devolution and decentralization, where we are saying it's not every decision that should be made at the head offices. We need to come to the people. We need to come to the communities, to the affected people in the communities. They need to make these decisions that affect them. So we are saying, as we implement this decision, devolution and decentralization, let's take those offices that are at the head offices to the people. Why should you, so many youths want to register companies. They are finding it very difficult to register companies because you have to travel to Harare to meet the registrar of deeds, whatever. Why? They should come to the people where the youths are to encourage them to formalize, to encourage them to start up businesses. So we are saying so many offices that are operating in Harare, that are centralized in Harare and Bulawayo, will be decentralized to the provinces so that they come closer to the communities that they serve. So that's the devolution and decentralization. Then the other parts you can read. Then we now come to the national budget, which was presented yesterday. And I think this is one area that is very, very important for you. We are saying government is committed to empower, and you are part of the people who are the target for the government. Because we have said we want to tap into the youth dividend, demographic dividend here. We want to tap into that. So government also has that in mind. They want to empower these disadvantaged and the marginalized members of the society, youth included in that, right? And we are saying US 37.5 million was given by government to women. And we have so many ladies who are here, who are youth. You can also tap into this particular fund. Let's not restrict ourselves that I'm only youth, I will tap into the youth fund. If you are youth and a woman, you can also tap from both ends. It creates better opportunities for you to tap into these funds. We also have 37.5 for youth entrepreneurs, which now it involves everyone. You youth, this is what was presented yesterday in the national budget. This is an allocation that was given to you. Then we also have 37.5, which is going for the war veterans. All these funds will be coming through the National Venture Fund. The National Venture Fund, it was alluded to last year. That's when it started. And now there are just modalities of putting up the structures to allow you to access the funds. So those modalities to put up the structures are underway. And we are hoping that by 2021, the funds will be available. And one good part of this fund is that there is no collateral that is required for you. But what is required is a bankable project. Just come up with a good idea, good project that is bankable. You can tap into this fund. Wow. Yeah, sure. And also we have about $5.5 billion, which is going towards various researches. Whether you do a research for the industry, these are the innovative apps that were introduced in universities, right? If you do your research, you go through you send it through the innovation app. You can tap into this 5.5 billion. It's still for you. If only you have realized most of these students in universities, they are youths. So all these funds, they are just split into this particular fund, but they are meant for you, youths. They are meant for you. So it's up to you to come up with a brilliant idea and take these funds. We also have 77 million. That 77, it was actually disbursed last year. This year, it was this year, 2020. And it was recorded by September because we were preparing the budget. So it was recorded up to September this year. 77 million. But it was channeled through these institutions. Part of them, we have them here. The Empower Bank. They were beneficiaries of these funds. But these institutions, they are just there to facilitate you to access these funds. The monies are not for the banks. The monies are for you. So you need to take up such opportunities. And we are saying about 6,763 micro, small and medium enterprises benefited from this fund. And also we are saying in 2021, the next year budget, we have allocated 1 billion for the capitalization of this. We are giving them money, additional money. 1 billion is going to these particular institutions again for you to benefit. Then 2.2 billion was allocated to the Ministry of Women Affairs, Community, Small and Medium Enterprises, which is a ministry that works with SMEs, that works with women on gender issues, that works with communities for development. So you also have another fund, 2.2 billion, that was channeled through the line ministry. We also have 3.4 billion, which is channeled through the Ministry of Youth, Sports, Arts and Recreation. So all those funds, they are for you to tap on. Then we also have another fund, which is the Sovereign Fund. The Sovereign Fund has the objective of facilitating investments for the benefit of future generations, which I believe is you, the future generations. And an allocation of 97.5 million was set aside by the government to capacitate that institution, that fund. Then we are saying 25% of royalties from my mineral exports will be channeled to that particular sovereign fund, wealth fund. So these are continuous funds that will be there. As long as we have exports of minerals, then the royalties will be channeled to that particular fund. That one is for mining. We have so many people who are miners, young miners. They can still tap onto the 198.5 million that has been channeled through the Ministry of Mines and Mining Development. At this juncture, allow me to say, change begins with you. Change begins with me. Change begins with me. Change begins with you. Change begins with us all. I thank you.
Informative presentation, well comprehensive. I think if we had missed this opportunity to attend such a great, platform, you were not going to get this from any other platform. So once again, let's give Madam a round of applause. Thank you very much for your amazing presentation. Okay, so yeah, I think she explained it so well, where we are and where we are going in terms of our economic transformation process. We all want to see ourselves as Zimbabweans being in a middle income economic status. That's by 2030. And she has given us a three-phased approach to that through the TSP, the NDS 1, the NDS 2. So at this juncture, I need to call upon someone among the youth. Yes. No.
Our guest is a
youth. Our guest is a youth, unfortunately. Yes. Can you just stand up? I have a very beautiful question for you.
Wait.
Yes.
Me?
Yes, you. Just want you to display your excellency. Yes, so Madam explained and elaborated on the national documents that needs to be implemented to achieve an upper middle income economy. Can you just name these three and explain one in detail?
Yeah, thank you very much. That was a very great presentation by Madam from the Ministry. Firstly, we had a document from 2013, which is ZImbabwe, which was implemented from the year 2013 to 2018. Then we moved into the Transition Stabilization program, which was meant to stabilize the local economy against the forex exchange rate. And right now we are moving, as announced at the end of the year, into the first phase of the National Development Strategy, which will be a 5-year program, which will then lead us again into the second NDS2, National Development Strategy number 2, which shall end in the year 2030 with the intention of attaining an upper middle economy by that year.
Besides that, you just need to remove the ZImbabwe first and start on the TSP, then everything will be fine. Thank you very much for your contribution. It means you were paying attention to the presentation, which is what we all like. Let me invite, she has highlighted that there are several avenues through which youth can access these national funds. And she mentioned about the Empower Bank. They receive a lot of money for youth. Can you please, at this, take this opportunity to respond by giving a presentation on how these funds is managed and what the youth can do to access their monies. And of course, they will be having a lot of questions there, which I'm sure you'll be able to respond to when time comes. Let's clap our hands as Miss Chieza Kudzai. Okay, so she's Miss Kudzai from Empower Bank. Let's give a round of applause.
Good afternoon to you all. I hope you are happy to be hosting us. Empower Bank, your youth bank. Empower Bank is a microfinance bank which was registered in 2018. We are a formally registered deposit-taking institution. We offer banking services like any other normal bank. Our mandate is to increase financial literacy, financial inclusion, entrepreneurial skills, and access to finance to the youth. Why this bank was formed, you, the youth, you expressed your disappointment on how you were getting your services from the other ordinary banks. So this is the main reason why this bank was formed. It's your bank, you are supposed to access all the services. If you do not come to the bank, then you are not helping us to save the mandate. The services that we offer financial services and non-financial services. For the non-financial services, we offer training, management training, proposal writing skills, financial literacy. We also offer group capacity building efforts and providing information on available financial services. For the financial services, we offer all your banking services, all your ordinary banking services, which you know. You can come to the bank, open an account, operate that account. We also have ATM cards. You can use those cards on any POS machine in your shops, in your pharmacies. You can also use that services. We also offer loan facilities. That is our main thrust. I think you've heard from the Minister of Finance. We get funding from them, and we also push those funds through the youth. How you access those funds? You open an account with Empower Bank. I think most of you have received the flyer. If you do not have the flyer, please raise up your hand, then you get one. You open an account with Empower Bank. We offer personal accounts, company accounts, group accounts. personal account, for you to open the personal account, we need your ID, your proof of residence, and your passport photo. For our proof of residence, we accept, since I have understood that we have students in this place, we accept letters from your principals. We also accept bills which have your parents' name. The initial deposit is $350. All our accounts, they are service charge free. So you access your services, you only get charged when you transact. So you can access that account and operate it as your bank account. We also offer group accounts. For group accounts, we understand that we are youth, and most of our youth, most of our businesses are not yet formalized. That's where the group accounts come in. For the company accounts, we need companies that are formally registered. We also help you to register the companies, and we also give you advice on how to operate your company. For the loan process, how you access the loan process, we need a formal project to be submitted. We also offer services on how you can write the proposal. You can access our website. Our website is on the flyer, which I'm sure everyone is now having. You can access our website. You get the structure on how to write a proposal. Once the proposal has been submitted, we do a site visit before we make a decision. Because we are a youth bank, we offer loans which are collateral free. We know you youth, you need to do your startup businesses. You do not have any collateral. We also offer you collateral free loans so that you'll be able to start up your businesses. For those youth that are already in operation and they just want top up finances to manage their businesses, they can also apply for bigger amounts and also offer collateral. In terms of our collateral, we are different from all the traditional banks. We accept household goods, your TVs, your fridges, your laptops, as students, your phones. You keep your asset. We just lodge it in that you have pledged it as collateral, but you keep using your asset. Those are our services as Empower Bank. Please visit us, access the funds that we have been given by the government for onward transmission to the youth. If you do not come to the Empower Bank, we will not be able to give you that service. So please visit any of our branches. We have 2 branches in Harare, 1 branch in Mutare, 1 branch in Mashimbo, and another branch in Bulawayo. Thank you so much.
Let's clap hands for Ms. Kudzi. Once again, let's give a round of applause. I think that was quite precise and on point. So I hope we are appreciating where we are coming from. We have been given how the country has adopted the Sustainable Development Goals and customized them to our national context. You then realized how Zimbabwe, in terms of budgeting, is also complementing the National Economic Transformation Strategy. She is now being part of the technical support of, all those efforts. And I'm wondering now if all these processes are implemented without, a system to monitor transparency, accountability, we may end up, losing the gains of all these national efforts. So we need anti-corruption something there about in the process. That's why we have engaged the Zimbabwe Anti-Corruption Commission to tell us that how can they also come in and complement these efforts? And how can youth be involved in the process as well? But before that, as we have already introduced, can I have a girl up and tell us, any girl? If you are a boy, you are not a girl. And it means if you are not a boy, you are a girl. Can we have such a confusion, maybe? where a girl doesn't know now whether she's a girl or not, because there is a question to be answered.
Ladies, maybe.
Ladies. Ladies? Yes. Are you a lady? Oh, sorry, you are part of the... Yes, let me have that one with the scarf. Thank you. So, with the scarf, just give us in brief the mandate of Empower Bank, in brief.
Okay, my name is Andromeda Naringo. I'm from Koromonzi. So from what I heard from Kudzai's presentation is young people are generally affected by lack of access to finances. They have brilliant ideas and they want to implement new things, but we don't have the financial muscle. So the Empower Bank is there to capacitate us, to give us money, funds, and also to give us skills. Because some of us, we just want to do business, but we don't have the knowledge, the know-how to operate my business. So they have the capacity to give us financial literacy. So that's what I heard from Kudzai's presentation.
That's brilliant. Let's Okay, so this point, without wasting much time, I just want to invite a representative from the Zimbabwe.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, my name is Dr. Mnyara Zimagiga. I am Manager of Public Education with the Zimbabwe Anti-Corruption Commission. With me is a strong delegation, obviously made of 2 men and 2 very strong women. I wouldn't mind if they can stand up so that I can introduce them.
What is it?
I think you better face the audience. Right to my extreme right is Mr. Chinomona, followed by Mr. Magoa, followed by Mudawano and Zimba. So this is the team that is joining us here. And we are joining you for a good cause. We've been listening to very important presentations that are happening here. And I was just wondering what kind of people are here, only to find that we've got true Zimbabweans here. So if we are true Zimbabweans and we've been taught that the government has made some strides in trying to make things better, it is now on our part now to make it even better. And the best way to make it better is really to say, let's put our efforts together and make sure that the little that government is going to raise, the little that budget has actually provided for, is used with all the prudence that it deserves. If you see one of the 4 people I've introduced to you abusing Anti-Corruption Commission resources, you have the right to challenge them and say, Chinomona, but is this your level of integrity? We expected something better from you. So everybody must be accountable to some extent. And the accountability aspect starts with you and never with the president. The president has done enough. He has set in a cabinet that is in full force. He has set ministries that are there. There are commissions and agencies that are there. There are departments for women and youth that are vibrant. So, manga mchida ukuthi president vavonekwewo here vachiinvestigata nyaya dzecorruption isitiripo. He has done his job. So what is left is within our control, and we should be able to carry that mandate without failing. Say, are we having challenges now? What we can do is actually put that presentation on a flash that is compatible with the machine. We can use that other, it is on the flash. It's not compatible with this one now. Yes. But I'll go on with the presentation with something that is already outside. Right. As the Zimbabwe Anti-Corruption Commission, we we have the mandate that you all know from the Constitution and as given by the Enabling Act, which is the Anti-Corruption Commission Act. Now, our mandate is to, number one, investigate all forms of corruption, big and small. Doesn't matter who is doing corruption. The only person who will never bother trying to investigate is the president himself. And it is for a good reason that the president is covered by the legal statutes of Zimbabwe, the constitution itself. But anybody else, minister, whoever it is, political party, political person, we are in a report. What else do we do now? We also make sure that we carry out what we call corporate governance checks throughout all public and private institutions. Now, what are we looking at now? We want to see that are people sticking to the real corporate governance that is expected of a government that has to deliver. If there is money that has been put into a certain bank and it is going only to save a certain people of a certain totem, then please come and tell us kuti vana dhweva kungodya panapa. Isusu nana vana nhoro dzonzichi amene vana shava kwedu hakuna chiri kuinda ikoko. We want to see that the cake, big or small as it is, it has to be shared equally and in a manner that will make sure that Zimbabwe is the winner and not an individual. We also participate in educational fora, different for that matter. I'm very glad that the Zimbabwe SDGs has invited us. No, it's not just an invitation. They've actually come to collaborate with us. So they have become a very strong partner, a partner whom we will actually do business with for the next how many years, as long as corruption is at your pair. My youth teacher Fambane. Why are we saying that? We believe that Nyika yedu iri maoko ama youth. And it's not all my youth and a direction. In the matotira is a direction kutangira pan, we will not waste time tichikusei pande zvose zvachaita. So principally, those are the three things that I want to leave with you. Investigation of corruption offenses. We've talked about corporate governance checks and systems review. I think makanzwa kuti rimwe gore takangosvika tikati haiwa taakuenda kumahospital tikati matorera muri kuita vanhu aya hatisikuada because zvaingova pakuti uyo ari kutorwa kutraina sanesi mutsvuku here mudhafu here kana chii isikati aiwa hakuna munhu anotorwa achidaro according to the constitution. Toda zvinhu zvokuti vana vose vakwanise kunge vari at an equal footing, and we made our recommendations. We did the same with ZIMSEC. That's why there are no or very few leakages. And the last time it was after a thorough and rigorous systems review that we carried out. And just last year, we did a systems review with the Presidential Scholarship. Now, if you are doing with the Presidential Scholarship, why can't we come to your ministry? Why can't we come to your organization? Anyway, it was on the first day, the very first day, imagine, kuti ma resources enyika imomo muoffice imomo arikiti wabira na makudo. Doro riri kumiwa na vanhu vanogona kukwira mumuti. Vana tsuro nyangwe mukangwara mukwi. Okay, let's go to our presentation. It's reporting that power will be somehow a problem here. Okay. Don't worry about that person. Right. We have to understand the meaning of corruption if you have to fight it logically. Now, corruption can simply be understood as the misuse of entrusted power for private or personal gain. Share it. What is happening with this?
Space.
No, this is the mistrust of entrusted power for private or personal gain. Now, we are saying, if you come to any institution, public or private, there are certain people who are in authority. Those people are benefiting from institutional resources at times outside the dictates of the law. And these people have chances to make sure that they can take some resources for their personal gain. Votoenda kumba kwavo kana riri dhizi rondoshandiswa kupurazi. Kana dziri mota dzese dzinogona kutorwa dzondoshandiswa navana namadzimai. Uku maoperation ehurumende kana kuti institution akamira. We cannot allow kuti zviitike because Ministry of Finance inenge yaita budget inokwandirana kuti maoperations ezvinhu izvo zvibude sezvazviri. And this time they are actually saying to us, everybody must come to account kuti Mario takakupai makaita chi. This is a Zimbabwe Anti-Corruption Commission. I tell you and I promise you, we will be able to explain to these guys to say, this is what we have used the money for. And right now, with the Justice Matanda Moyo Commission, I will tell you there are no secret cows. You have seen us going for ministers, am I right? Akazungwa minister, sitting minister, azvamboitika izvozvo kumashuro. Kufighta corruption in the past kwakafanana nokurisisiwa mbada. I will tell you, unofamba ukadzofamba. Ukaona dzamira omira, you keep at a distance. This is what was happening. But when this commission came into being, I tell you kuti hakuchina uchanzi ndinhingi. Tirikungobata chete. Ende kusvika vanhu ivavo they have changed their attitudes. We will not hesitate to make sure that they account. I'm trying to learn some again. Please. Right. The first one under the criminalized offenses. Now, there are so many offenses that you can find in the criminal code, right? But in as far as fighting corruption is concerned, we have justified that we want to discuss here. And number one is bribery. Right? You are promising somebody, you are giving somebody an inducement to do or not to do his or her work, which he or she is legally employed to do. Imagine when you can give somebody money which usaita basa iwe. That's how bad corruption can be. Saka money is being used as an inducement to make sure that somebody benefits as an individual and not as a government or an institution. Please, in terms of bribery, those are kusangana ma bribe amuri kuti kubhadhara kuzvipatara, ma bribe amuri kubhadhara pama roadblock. Nearly every service center, there's somebody who's waiting to make sure he gets a bribe, whether in government or in the public sector. Kuti one basa the same. We are undi bhadhare. Kana muri musikana yacho vachi? Tanga wadi? Tanga wandida. Zvino vana vose ava nekunetsa kuita mabasa vangada varume vanga vapedza. Hamunyariwe here varume. Aiwa, hatinyariwe here varume. Omuri kuku varume. So what I'm trying to say is time has come that we don't want our children to be abused. Please come and tell us kuti this is a sex pest. Ari kundinetsa. Ini ndinoda kungowana basa hangu Ministry of Local Government, but anditi zvakati. Then that person can be investigated. We cannot leave you to suffer just because somebody is thinking of that. Then corruption is all about using false documents, which amounts to forgery. Now, what kind of these documents can be? My driver's license are good because mchitungwiza no ma avenues yoai. Pamwe totowana we muno. Yes, tikatawa kubuda tombo kusecha one by one. Tinopeza taenda na vasungwa 17 bana. My O-level certificates, marriage certificate, passports, what have you. Every document that has been forged corruption iyoyo. So we will make sure that you should be arrested and attempt to using it. Paanongozama kuishandisa ipapo, amai mapepenya anakumira zvakanaka. Dai tambouya tambotaurirana kunoko. Nhasi hamuchaende henyu kumba. Timbohereketawo tose tione zvakadii. Ngatibatsirane. Nyaya yenyu yava kuda kuti vamakoti vatidetsere kuti tione kuti izvi ndezvechokwadi here kana kuti isati tasunga vanhu tonge tingoshandawo nemu kusvika masara kujeri. Saka ngatiregerei zvinhu. Concealing a transaction from your principal. Ndo zvatiri kusangana nazvo mumaofisi. Hazvabasa kuti NGO kana kuti chii. Mukaenda pagovernment office yoga yoga iko zvino. Chero pazina rapatabva napapa. Unongoreceiva $20 yeforex iyai. Unenge ane dutu ramakadzi kudai. Anenge achiswipa kudai. Forex yoenda kupi? Ndio saka tati personal gain. Saka zinara haichozvizivi kutoti uyu John uyu ari kusenda apa. Ari kutoita profit achishandisa office yezinara. Saka izvozvo hazvina kutombomira zvakanaka kwanzwa munhu achiti aiwa saka ndira kuswipa kuti ndikupe chenji yako kuti siya kubatana nemari yangu. Iwewo kwauri kutoita kutobawo. Kana ndabhadhara iri forex ngainde yakadero ndoonawo receipt inouya yakadaro. Kuzvakaipei kuti hurumende iwane forex munyika yamayo. So your boss will never know. Vari kungofungidza kuti vanhu vavachingoenda ma-RTGs. Kusvika musi uchazosvika a youth yakaatenda this workshop. No. Ndatorerwa mari yangu. Izvozvi ende tindosecha. Towana mari yacho, unowana forex yacho, unenge asati abudaka. Vasati vachaisa. Tosvika toverengerana mari. Mari yomwana ine nhamba dzayo. Ko iwe wazonyora uchiti izvi zvazodii. Unotsanangura here pano napano. Saka ngatimirei pachokwadi tichiudza vakuru vedu zvinenge zvichiitika pabasa ipapo. Then corruption, it means conflict of interest or having an interest in a transaction. Tine hamakata tose takadai handiti. Vamwe vazukuru vamaminista, vamwe mazukuru vama MP, chii and everybody. Wanziwo wapinzwa basa mukambani rokuti ndiwo change uchihodha stationary inopinda muno mukambani. Then what do? Pamakambani matatu achandotora maquotation, you make sure kuti yomukwasha wako iripo. Muri kuzona?
Yeah.
Saka izitomboshamba vanhu vachingova mamabusiness vachingopusha. Kwaita imwe chenda futi. This time tinowina. Masiyiwa. Zvii zviri kumboitika. Kunongobuda iyo kambani 1 inonzi dongi rinopfuura. Vakomana. Zvakamira sei? Uyai kamutikwenyerewo kuti panapa mukatarisa mabhuku eprocurement. Anova nekambani 1. Asi kambani iyi kazhinji unowana isina zvinhu zvakachipa. Saka ndobate chiti zviri kufamba sei. Saka corruption iyo. Then the next thing is abuse of office. Abuse of office ndio yatati umwe noumwe wedu anida kuintroduce ikutimu yangu. Kana vabva pano iniwo mukuru handichipo. Kana vava kutaura vona vanhu ndisipo ndiye watova mukuru kwandi corruption ipapo handiti. Kana kakudzai kwandi corruption hatidaro. Munofanira kuzvibvuma kana kuti ndiye akada kuzoshandisa masimba ake zvisiri pamwero. Ndio abuse of office iyoyo. But this is a very wide term. Inonetsa kana taenda nomusungwa kukoti kuti takubata section 174 check. Tinozomanyira kuti inonetsa utsanangurai. Ngatichiona kuti abuse of office yacho iyi hainavo fraud here mukati. Tobva takubata dziri mbiri kuti tikakukutava. Neni inokurova nefraud section 136. Kazhinji ndio zvatinoita izvozvo. Saka we have 5 criminalized offenses dzinoita nezvecorruption. But hazvinoti ZImbabwe Anti-Corruption Commission tinogomera apa. Tinoindawo kune precious stones diamonds, gold, theft of motor vehicles, Grain Marketing Board Act, ose zvimwe zvotakazozvipiwa iko zvino. Saka hapana chinoitika nechitsotsi nechikiribidi chatinotadza kuinvestigata. Uyai nenyaya dzedu tione kuti tingadzifambisa sei. Right. Ndenge ndava kuda kuziva manje. Now, zviri zvinombokonzera iyo corruption yacho iyi. Chokutanga, corruption yese is caused by greed. Ukuhwaba. Kukara makaro aya. And ukaona zvimwe zvinhu zvinoita kuti munhu une business rinoita bring in pazuva more than 43,000 US dollars, unowana uchinzi akandoba 5,000. Ndipo unoona kuti hapana chinonzi upfumi hwawanda. So greed on its own inoita kuti ufungidzire kuti zvinhu zvanga zvati zvakwana. You want to have everything. Zvimwe zvinotiradza kuti greed, chero akatenga Lamborghini, mangwana unondotenga, atenga white nhasi, mangwana unotenga yellow. Zvasiyana. Iye arikuda kuzviratidza zvaanenge arizvo. So greed and selfishness. Panenge uchitotora zvinhu unscrupulously, pane wauri kushotesa. Kana mari yanga ichifanira kuinda hanzi namai takaita provide for sanitary pads, am I right? Mari yanga ifanira kuinda kuya yozonzi yandotengawo Lamborghini yomunhu. Vana vose vari kuchikoro vasikana vorarama sei? Votambura nokuda kwake wega. We don't want that selfishness. Inofanira kupera. The next one, there is lack of demonstrated political will. And this is why I have said, kudhara taita setiri kurisambada anditika. But with the new dispensation, which I am not campaigning for, but I am saying reality here, kufighta corruption equally has become so real. And kana uchida kuona tichokwadi chimboita corruption yacho iwe, chibvenewe pana. Hurumende iri kufamba negora riri kuonekwa. Esi commission you have been empowered now. Hatichadani mapurisa kuti tapedza kuinvestigate yaimusungi, takuzvibatira mhene dzedu. Saka ndo pane nyaya yacho. Demonstrated political will ndeyekuti vamunangagwa havana pano address. Vakasataura nyaya nenyaya yekufighta corruption. Hanza ndavanzwa. Kana vakanzwa kwa izvo ndofunga vavakangamwa. Saka which means kuti chinhu chaanoziva kuti direction yatofanira tora senyika. Let's make sure that we fight corruption first. Then Vision 2030. Yokupinda mujakachaka roupfumi. Inenge yatobuda. Zviri kutaurwa zvose kuti tazoshandisa IRBM, tashandisa chizvese. Asi tikasafighta corruption, hatisviki. The first thing IRBM yedu yakanaka. And we are one of the most complying institution in terms of IRBM. Tiri kuita iyo. But chatoda kumeka sure ndechokuti ngachiwawo ne change of attitude so that we keep our resources and use them wisely. Then the exercise of good corporate governance. Kana ndikapuwa mukana wokuti ndite employ, recruit people. Pakauya pano mwana wangu wokavimba yachitsvaka basa. I should be able to recuse myself. Guys, I cannot do it. Because paita mwana wangu. Kana mwana achiwana basa indotanga ndabuda. Oh, the next thing is, know my child. Haugoni kuti apply pano nokuti nhasi ndindiripo. Wozo apply zvako, wobonekwa navanhu zviri transparent. And I'm talking about what happened. It was by surprise. She works in Bridge one day. Tirikuita systems review kuchitungwiza hospital. Ndirikunzwa takangosvika vasingazivi katikati. Murikuenda kope naye vana desi zvikasizi takundoselecta vana. Tikati vakato apply zvikazi hongu. Tikati aiwa pakanaka. Tikati madii kumbotimirira kai ndimi wanani. Tikati atazoshanda test. Zvikasinzi aiwa time yedu yakwana. We can't wait for that. Isusu tikati pakanaka. Vachingopinda unobva tavharadho. Tikati tokumbira mapapers ese iwawo. Ama application. Anga aitwa layering. Kuti pa number 6 poga pano mwana wakadi wakabvisa mari. Tikati zvakanaka nobva tatora. Ini nese chigarai uko makatipoteredza. The next thing I had to order kuti naisiwo ndanzwa kuti pane vana vatanga kuita class yenursing nhasi. Can we go and take them? If you don't give them those people, I will talk to the Commissioner General of Zimbabwe prisons. Vondipa prisoners anogona kuverenga, and we will do the selection here. Zvikasinzi ngatishandisai vanhu. Ndobva tose nondotora vanhu. Tikati koma amwe aripi hanga chikati box 1 ichi. Zvikanzi ari kokoko tikati ndaimutora. Ndobva vandotora tikati all right. Imi chibvirai kuri. Vana muri vanga 27. Tikati venganisai zvese. Kuvhenganisa chaiko. Kusvika mavhenganisa kuya. Vana nokuvhenganisa ngati right. From there, vana vangu, umwe nomwe ngaanunge, ake 30. Unongonunga randomly. 30. Hapana kana wani umwana wakanga abvisa mari wakabuda. And do you know what happened? Somebody collapsed and died. The Zimbabwe Anti-Corruption Commission does not kill. but somebody collapsed and died. Anyway, let's move on. So we want to make sure that our systems and procedures are watertight. They are impervious to corruption. Kuti zvinhu zvedu zvimire zvakanaka. Tichazviita zvese kuma-public nama-private institutions. I don't know what is happening here. Who is now assisting me? I think we need to investigate some corruption here. Sure, zvatotanga. But apa chinenge chiri kupfuta ka. It's power. Right. So we can always go on and talk about it. Taita ma corporate governance checks edu. Techida kuti tivhare malopos of corruption. Ndio anoita kuti ukwanise kuba kana uri manager. Saka tinogara nemutodzisana kuti tivhare zvinhu zvakaita sei tozviita sei. This has never happened to other presentations. And I'm told kuti kana zvadai tichifana kuti tichidismiss. But we will not. Can I have the other laptop and I can use my laptop? Anybody?
Corruption.
No, izvi zvinoitika izvi saka hatichanyanyi kuzvitya maningi. But isusu seZimbabwe hatiregeri zvinhu zvedu nokuti technology imwe yaramba. Tofana kutowana mukana chete wopabuda ava vachigadzira ndima ichifamba. Hanzi chiregai kumhanya-manya henyu, tinawo nyanzvi dzacho dziri panapa. While you are making something, so we talked about exercise of poor corporate governance as causes, then the absence of deterrent sentences to punish the corrupt. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where we are very much worried as Zimbabwe Anti-Corruption Commission. And I want to believe, as a country, we should get this one. I'll give you a good example. Mbudzi inoita mari kurizeva kana tenga mbudzi yokuti tidye nyama. Ndakambonzwa imwe yaita sokuti inoita zvayo $35 handiti? Kana yadhura ngatingoti 50. Munhu akaenda akandoba mbudzi nhasi ye$50 ukaenda kukoti unogona kusentencwa to 9 good years in prison. But munhu anenda akandoba $400,000 mucity council unogona kuwa 2 years kana 4 years. Pane kufambirana here. What it means kune mbavha dzakangwara. And ndo zvatiri kuda kuudza vamwe vedu kujustice. Mbavha dzakangwara dzicharegera kuba mbudzi. Dzondoba ma$400,000 kuti dzigonotenga mbudzi. Dzadzida kudya idzoni. Havachaendi kujera. Kana vaenda vanoenda 2 years. Saka tinofanira kuona punishment yedu iri so deterrent zvokuti munhu waita zvecorruption and has been convicted should serve time in prison. Hapana nyaya ipapo. In Tanzania, South Korea and Egypt, ukangosungirwa nyaya yecorruption, hawendi kubail, hakuna bail. Corruption is not bailable. Once wabata unonge uriko kusvika wazviclear. Saka, those are some of the things that we should also think for us to improve on. Then lack of enforcement on laws, policies, and regulations. Nguva yakareba tanga tichikuregererai. Zvino zvino tese law enforcement agents takasimudza mutambo, takasaina ma-MOU yokuti hatidi kuregererana panyaya yekufighta corruption. Tikaenda kuministry yatinoda iko zvino, tikatiri kutsvaka document rakati kuno munhu ato-investigator, I tell you it does not take 2 hours. Data pure document. There is total collaboration. And this is what we expect as a government and as a country. And together that way, tinokwanisa kupedza corruption. Oh. I think let me go to the effects. Let me talk about the effects of corruption. Now, basing on political instability. Now, corruption there is always bound to be some kind of agitation in the community, in the society. And once a macamon zakana my daughter, as now Mira Sakana, Chichikitika, Abana Fuera Uchko, as soon as Nakumira Sakana, Chichikitika, Amenus Rikitika Kuma Prazo. And then where's the uno blamer the sitting president? But it's a tribu Taurapana by instability. Those are kuti. Mukapavan Zakakwana, my youth is Zakakwana, my Zabo Zokutanga project. Nenzvimbo dzekuitira mabusiness muchivapamikana hakuna unosara akagara pachibridge achipurota kundoba achipurota kundomacha mustreet. They do that because we are actually failing to provide them. So our recommendation as Zimbabwe Anti-Corruption Commission is to see a Zimbabwean youth who is useful to his own country. We are trying to say by 2030, as the president has already enunciated, we should reach a stage where there is full employment in Zimbabwe. Full employment has not chose to Fanakundo by Robachituba. So Rangoana Zaku, Sauneita, Shinokuna Kupamari, no Darika Kusera, which is good morning. So we are looking at that seriously. Then we also worried about the misuse or theft of government resources. Vakomana mugovernment munobiwa vakomana. Regai tikutaurire takuriramo izvo. Mukanzwa vachiti vari kuinda kuma alright. Mukanzwa vachiti varuya kuno kuzokudzidzisai kudai. Pamwe izvo zvitendi ensi yanyorwa ipapa. Ndiye mazuva matatu. Kuchindovatiwa muzihotera rinotyisa iye munhu ari pano achipedzira arara mota. We are bleeding the government and we cannot let this thing to continue. Regai mode vamakaona vaya tichizobata vane mota taivanga nekuda 15 vachinomona dziri papurazi pake toti aiwa zvikoyo mota dzako dzaenda kupurazi kwako sei tiri kuda kuti mota dzishandiswe navana kubasa. Then that's a misuse of government property. Hey! Technology, Let me go to the economic factors. Oh! All right. Then we talk about the linkages in national wealth. Nyika yedu panyaya dzeupfumi yanga iri sefa munoziva yedoreya kaya kuti hope inobvinza zviya zvisingamboiti. Toonai vamwe mai vakasvika vakabatiwa paairport negold 6 kg. Kuitawo here namanyaya yamaresources. Let's talk about it because it's now public knowledge. She's appearing in court and she has not been given bail. As the Kasumudza handbag isiyo. Saka iyo yaibayana. You see, so people have the audacity to say, please give me what I have stolen. We can't be a banana republic. We have to make sure that such people are brought to account. So the illicit financial flows that are happening in mining, in agriculture, including Fumbudza, Chikatura motor in any direction that we want, even Chindambuya here, very close. Unoona vanhu vakachera makomba anditi. Vakacherera wakazvakataurwa nehurumende. Cherai makomba epfumvudza chigokupai mbeu yose yobiwa naSABHU nakansela nevamwe vake vatatu sezvakaita kuMashonaland West. Haunzwiwo tsitsi here navanhu vakaita saivo. Wozopedzisira wakutengesa futi. So those leakages, they are putting us in a very big debt as a country. Unemployment. How many of us are employed here? Gainfully employed. Can you show by raising your hands in terms of youth? There's nobody who is employed. But we agree that the age range is from whatever where you are to 35, am I right? So can we stand up as a purpose and you are none? Because in Indruguti, in Anjato de Kurambandiripo, Dodakuana was substitute. The Karamba Jingo is Zanangoma no Kuchindonzi Dorigona, and he didn't know what you know. So we also expected that even the retirement age should be brought forward to make sure that we all have to participate in working for the country. So unemployment is ballooned. Then unfair distribution of business opportunities. What plans do you have? As youth, we know you have got very good business plans that we have. But ukaitora naso kandoisa pakuchitarwa kufandi here. Iko kuya. Shileta corruption wakumana wasikana. Beparaku riaria rotosika tonzi none. Yabone kasikana kakanyora project isingaiti. Nza ayo hapo musakapa dzimaimu tikope tichinje tise zita romwana wangu Sara. Sara rotopo amari ne project yawakaita iwe. This is something ridiculous. We need to make sure that such things come to an end. Somebody is giving me some wrong spelling here. It should be erratic service provision in 4 sectors. Mazimai edangetasacha patu arepo ari kuzviborano. Vamwe vachifamba nousiku because council is failing to provide. These other government offices not doing exactly what is mandated to do. And everybody comes to blame the government. Why? Because somebody is not doing his or her own job. That has to stop also. Then next. Let me go to social. Now, in Zimbabwe, what we have seen is Zimbabwe Anti-Corruption Commission. We now have very few role models. In this Kuranda, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a teacher, I want to be this and that. But you can see, Mbava Dacho, no Zirikutora respect. And I'm not my boss. Don't be Zimbinga Zachetu. Ashara in a master because we know us. Let us also check out Kubasa, Kunomuno, I can wait from you. Tara would not say Rajinda will investigate this degree or what. He had to this to make a marine fan. Ladies and gentlemen, touch Korochin, Shakana. Nguva Yembinga, Nama boss, Ichapera. Istoso, Tawan, Nenge Wakati Twasu same. Saga. We need good role models. Then we are also worried about early marriages, unwanted pregnancies, spread of HIV. Why is this happening? Because we are bound to get right. So, my pregnancies no type ye corruption gaititi sextortion, right? Sextortion tabataniza kuti kune nyaya dzechi sex, then extortion kutora chunhu chomunhu nesimba kana usina kurara neni hazviiti zvaunoda. Saka nyaya yesextortion iriko, tinoiona iriko kuzvikoro. Vana havachagoni kupasa savamwe. Ukagara wamakwa mwemusikana na lecture zvatopusa tanga wandida. Please let us know. Let us know. Lecture ino vanokwana kundopfeka chikabudura chewhite nejamba rewhite. Tinovabata. Right. Then we have got social inequalities kungoti anocreatika. Vamwe vane ukama hwekuti vanokwanisa kuzivana navakuru vachiwana. Imi vangu hamuna because magika hanani. Saka tikaita nyika yema-haves and have-nots, at one time there is bound to be instability. And this instability leads to social disobedience. Social disobedience ndeyekuti kana matsunga savanana kudai, chero mapurisa ari papa anotaura tiri kuuya naye papo, takutoda kufa, zvinoitika izvozvo. Ende muchipindawo naye papo. Saka hatidi kuti tisvike ipapo. We are law-abiding citizens and we will never allow that to happen. Then there is a culture of lawlessness. Hakuna chinhu chomunhu. Zvese zvotongotora nyangwe kuri kuba, handiti kuba kungotora zvinhu pasina mvumo. Ndozvoitika izvozvo. And it has actually gotten to a worse situation. Chero mudzimai akuchina womunhu nomurume womunhu havakomana musadaro. Tingadare. Right. Now, I just want to quickly share with you some of what we believe can be corrupt activities that are happening. Tinozviziva, tangosarirwa kuti mutipe report kana variko vabato. Isu tinoti chokutanga chakushanda naisi. Mukatarira ministry yokutanga nyaya recruitment and promotion of teachers, ECD form 1 places, schools, what have you, dzine nyaya mari dziri kuchinjana mavoko like anything. Tinozviziva. Then Ministry of Lands, mastenzi, mafarms, iko kuya anongopiwa vanenge vachikwanisa kubhadhara kana kuti ana mazita makuru. GMB, ukatenda nechibage chako nhasi, nyangwe chakanaka chiri grade A, unogona kutozopiwa mari. Muzukuru womushandi waipapo atanga wana mari zvake, iwopiwa 6 months later. Then health, medical services dzese taiudziwa pano nezuro ndatina maparliamentarians atakaitisa workshop zvikazinzi indaibadzwa rasekwa pakliniki yo paya pano mudhara musekiriti unotokudza kuti tavhara pana mavhara saka muchiri kuita chii, ndoda kurapiwa pana, tipe $2 upinde tikusotere. Bhadhara $2 kundonyorerwa kakadhi nanesi achazokuudza kuti ndandotenga mushonga. And somebody is satisfied kuti ndabatsirika. No, come and report to us. Public service, the recruitment and the selection, promotion, what have you tatarwa kai? Home affairs, passport. Takazongeta kutaura navakuru vacho. Last week here. Tikati zvavakuitika ka, isine office panapa. Ende mbavha dzacho inzai dziri kuti dzakusvika pakuti musatya zvenyu. Anti-corruption yakavhura office pano. Asika takatowananzvisa kudhara. Imagine, saka takaenda kuna register, tikati register kazvo zvavakutaura kai, takubata team yose iri mukato. Because the network we know it, inotangira kugeti. Ende imi ndimuchanyara. Takazofuma tikaona pakurindwa nefuti. Tikati ndokugona kawo. Right. Then, last year, the Zimbabwe Anti-Corruption Commission started on a very important document. And this document is called the National Anti-Corruption Strategy. As you can see, we were talking about strategy all over. But it is a requirement by the United Nations Convention Against Corruption. And it is also a requirement in the SADC region and in the AU region that every country which is a signatory to the UN Convention in fighting corruption must come up with a strategy on how they want to fight corruption. Now, what do we mean here? The strategy, this is a book, a policy that involves almost everybody in the country who should have a stake in how he or she is going to participate in the fight against corruption. So we went out, flat out last year. And as we went out there, well, let's forget about Comrade Mandela, who gave us this statement that a bright future beckons. The onus is on us through hard work, honest and integrity to reach for the stars. And we are saying as Zimbabweans, there's nothing that can stop us from reaching the stars. Now, What is inside this strategy? It is a grand plan which spells direction and purpose of combating corruption. Takaita all 10 provinces, including this province. Tikaunganidza vanhu pano patiri, vanhu vakatiudza zvavaida, ndo zvatakaisa mubhuku iri. Saka it was then, right? It was then inaugurated by the president on the 11th of August this year. Now, what it means that vanhu vakataura samazimbabweans kana muchida fighter corruption isi samayouth toda izvi, sewomen toda izvi, isusu semining toda izvi, whichever sector has got what it said. Now, this strategy configures the resources required. Kana taoda kundodzidzisa vanhu ndivanani vachange varipo, it's not whatever you do for the youth without the youth, then you are not doing for the youth. They should be present in whatever we do. So the youth have become a principal force in the fight against corruption. Vachakudzai vana vamangwana, hatichaiti musangano tisina mayouth, hazvichagoni. Kana tatova kutouya kuprovince, naye vamangwana tofamba sei toda kundoonana navamwe vedu. You are now a critical stakeholder in the fight against corruption. It is carried out to fulfill citizens' needs and expectations. Vanhu vakataura zvavanoda, vaida mabasa takawapromisa kuti kana ari mabasa, then the hotspots in the employment sector are these. So we know where to hit and where not to hit, where to correct and where not to correct now, because of this important document. Now, this was the roadmap. Yandataura. Participation was free. I was in Matebelent. Sasilavo avakulumayo konangale, vachitaura zvinhu zvavo tikatora sezvazviri, and they are happy about that. Vamwe vaiva kuno vakataura vonesu, we want to think kuti zvinofamba zvakanaka. But zvakanaka kutaura kuti the greatest number of people who participated in building up the national anti-corruption strategy were women, because we had 63% of the participants being women. So it has got more of the women flavor than men. Kama wakita research thing, moti I document redu madzimai. Right. Then how is NACS structured? It has got 6 pillars. And these pillars are pillar number 1, which is citizens empowerment and awareness. And the people who are involved here is the Ministry of Information, Education, Youth, Women, TIZ, Nango, etc. All those people who are involved in civic education. We are in Indian co-chair, we department here. Turn out data my program, say. The other one is corruption enforcement. Patil Kutora, Zaki, ZRP, NPA, which is National Prosecuting Authority, then NGOs. Those people, ndio vanoona kuti nyaya dza investigator. Pane pillar ravo, vanoita misangano yavo. Then we have got another pillar which is for accountability bodies. We have got the Office of the President and Cabinet, right? We have the Auditor General, CZA, which is what Confederation of Zimbabwe Industry, Zimbabwe National Chamber of Commerce, the NGOs, Takawan. Why are we saying these are accountability bodies? These they demand kuti zvawaita zviri pamutemo here. So you must be accountable for whatever you are doing. Then the deterrence bodies, avandeve mutemo. Munhu wamaya muchiti wakaba uzveshuwa here. Tine Law Society of Zimbabwe, Attorney General, Anti-Corruption Courts, ZAC, and NGOs. Then pillar number 5, ndo dhongira tiri kumhanya naro mazuva. Asset recovery in RBZ, Ministry of Finance, ZIMRA, Ministry of Justice, and the NGOs. Why are we saying ndo dhongira tiri kumhanya naro? Kare taingoti tikanzwa nyaya tondoifeya. Tosunga munhu wedu toenda kukoti, pamwe woendeswa kujeri. Toti zvinhu zvake zvapera, zvedu zvaita. Aiwa pakazouya mutemo munyowani we-asset recovery. Saka iko zvinotiri kuti uchimbosungwa uchiita nyaya yako yecriminal, isi taakumhanya necivil tichiteverera mari yawakaba. tichatora mari yese nyange wakandoishandisa kutenga madhongi ukarovodza mwana wako pachienda mbuya tinondosunungura madhongi iwawo pagecho tikauya nawo vamunangagwa vachatipa plus. Saka we want to make sure that the corrupt person will never benefit from ill-gotten wealth. Hapasina unodzoka kujere uchiwana kuna mukadzi navana kauri murume chete. We don't take your children because children are not proceeds of crime. Now the last one is what we call the political actors, which we have parliament, cabinet and what. And for the first time all politicians from their whatever background vakamhanya kuya kuti nesuwo toda kupinda vanhu ukasara pachitima paimaka yako. So our politics which was almost toxic is now warming up. Kuti pa corruption tiri vanhu vamwe uyai tione zvokuita tese. Saka mayouth hatidi kuti musarire, uyai tishande tese. Watindodii kandasvika. Right. Who are the members to the subcommittee yatataura? Subcommittee yedu yatafambira pano ndio yatati number 1. Citizens empowerment and awareness. Now ndivana ndari pano. All people involved in educating others, be they public or private, ndevedu uyaichande tese. Uchandodzidzisa vanhu paunenge uri ikoko. Now religious groups, for the first time, the Muslim, Tinabo, Christian, African traditional religion, all of them, they've actually agreed to come together and put their minds together and say, let's combat corruption together. Saka zvakufamba. Then civil society nama development partners akatoona kuti aiwa hatichagoni kuramba tichingoti zvinoitwa nehurumende hatizvidizvi. Ngatimbotanga tarwisana necorruption. Tosiyira mapolitician navamwe vachiita zvinhu zvavo. Tosangana kumaballot box. But corruption ngaitange yapera. Chero nyika inoti ikazoti topavo iwe unogona kuifambisawo zvakanaka. Pasi zvairi ndonga president vanoshaya hope nokupa kurikita vanhu muno. Saka ngativabatsire. Then ladies and gentlemen, I can talk until cows come home. But it is not important. It is best for me to say, wherever you come across incidents of corruption, let's resist and report corruption. Rambai tsikamadziro uye mangara horo. Then finally, my appeal to the youth. We have a point of convergence, which lies in the fact that we should collaborate. We should work together in educating other people who are back at home. We should transform ourselves into anti-corruption champions. Refuse kusvibiswa nechinhu chinonzi corruption. Tiudzewo mafoni edu takupai munachange munawo. Mukapinda mutown, mouya pamakombi. Tiri kutsvakawo pane zake. Mouya kuofisi kwangu. Tokurukura. Isine open door policy. Hauna munhu waunenge watengesa unenge wakamira pachokwadi. So ladies and gentlemen, Mwari ngakukomborere.
Thank you very much, Dr. Magiga. That was very comprehensive. I think everything has been said. Let's once again clap hands for Dr. Magiga. A wonderful presentation. We have realized, I think through his presentation, that as a nation, we have a perfect vision, which has been clarified here. We also have a sound governance model. We have effective policies and principles and an efficient technical function for implementation, an excellent monitoring and evaluation framework, and a viable security system that promotes transparency and accountability for all the transactions within our country. So with all that comprehensive package, where are we missing it? It means that there are some people who are letting us down, who are maybe pulling the trolley to the other way around. So what it does mean is that you and me, we all have a role to play towards the development of our nation. So having said that, ladies and gentlemen, I want to open the floor to questions and answers. can we have questions? Do we have a roving mic so that at least we don't take time? So what I will do is that if someone asks, then among the panelists, the speakers, will then allocate who is going to respond. And after the questions, then people will come and respond to their respective questions. Yes, go ahead, please. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much for the presentation. That was very comprehensive and detailed. In terms of corruption which is happening within our local areas, provincial and the national level, our greatest challenge, looking at the strategic development goals as the youth, we are looking at projects and means for survival that can sustain not only our livelihoods but also future generations. But the greatest defect, not only for Zimbabwe but for Africa, has been illicit financial flows. A recent survey claims that Africa is losing close to 70 billion annually in terms of revenue that can be extracted from the mining industry. And right now I'm referring to the mining industry. Why? Because we should be focusing our energies on domestic resource mobilization. For example, coming here from Mashonaland East, be it Goromonzi, be it Muriwa, be it Mtoko, we've got resources within our areas, not only mineral resources, but also natural habitation. So I would like to encourage as well as get some answers, if they may be, on what is to be done by the government, taking a look on the NDS1, whose implementation is beginning in January, in terms of the resources that are coming from the extractive industry. I heard the representative from the Ministry of Finance.
Can we go to the point?
The point is, what is the plan on stopping illicit financial flows? Not only is it that the point, I also want to ask, what is the approach we are going to use in terms of taking the economic impetus so that the stimulus we are going to have for youth, the opportunity, is going to be funded by the resources we have. So my question was first to the Zimbabwe Anti-Corruption Commission on its plans on stopping illicit financial flows. Then to the Ministry on Finance, my issue is, how are we going to use resources from the domestic resource mobilization in terms of stabilizing, in terms of funding, in terms of harnessing from what we have? Thank you.
Okay. Let's clap hands for that question. But I think that deserves a round of applause. Next time we'll incorporate you among the speakers so that you maybe take your time to say some of those key issues. Okay, I think you have taken note of your questions. We'll give you time to respond. Another question, please? Yes, madam. Oh, really? Sorry. I actually mean you.
Thank you so much. My question is the first question is on the Anti-Corruption Commission. I wanted to ask whether the Anti-Corruption Commission is a sort of protection mechanism for whistleblowers, because they're encouraging people to report all these cases of corruption. But is there a mechanism that protects all the whistleblowers who report these cases? Secondly, is there also a mechanism to have a lifestyle audit? When he was talking about people buying Lamborghinis, like, does the commission incorporate an element of lifestyle audit where someone like me who works in a certain department...
Is there a mechanism for lifestyle audit? Okay, thank you.
Then the last one on the finance and the SDGs, which is directed to the other speakers, is on how, in terms of consultation, is there some form of intersectionality which covers, like, if it's young people, the demographics and the differences that exist within those people? Thank you.
Okay, I think they've taken note. Yeah, the questions are very tight indeed. It's a kind of a Cambridge, way of questioning. Another question, maybe one more, then I'll give the floor to the responders for the second round. Then we'll move to the second and final round. Another question? Even a simple one, I think people are now thinking of complex questions. Just ask a simple one, please. They are also allowed.
My name is Tawea from Zimbabwe Youth SDGs. I just have got one question from the guys who came from Empower Bank. I maybe it skipped me. I wanted to know if it's possible for me. Can I officially open my bank account now? Like today?
Yeah, so he's saying right now, you see, considering the weather and everything, can I open my bank account? So I think you should be able to respond to that. Thank you. There was a hand somewhere. Okay, so I don't know who is prepared to, Madam. You can come and respond. In the interest of time, ladies and gentlemen, I also kindly ask the esteemed speakers to just go straight to the answer. And it's also possible that you might not have the answer today. It's possible. Yeah, very possible. Don't worry to say no, we'll get in touch.
All right. Thank you, moderator. I'll respond to the question on domestic resource mobilization first. When we came up with the NDS one, if you check on the results framework that are attached at the back of the NDS, we have a section where we have contributing partners. We have realized that as government alone, we cannot fund everything. But instead, we have brought on board the private sector who are contributing to the realization of the national priority. We have also brought on board the development partners, the civil society organization, international organization, everyone who contribute to that. So it is not only the responsibility of the government itself. We have everyone on board. So in as much as we have these allocations from the national budget, those will be supplemented by other contributing partners who contribute to the realization of that particular national priority. Then in terms of the consultations, in as much as, like I said during my presentation, I said that during the consultative process, we had the challenge that we were still adhering to the COVID regulations, because it was that period where we had strict COVID regulations. So we tried by all means that in our consultative process, we had an all-inclusive representation of the various stakeholders. So we didn't manage to go to the grassroots in as much as we appreciate that. But the consultations that we did, we tried by all means that we have everyone on board, at least a representative from the various organizations. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam. I think you were fully answered.
Okay, can I go ahead?
Yes, Doc.
Question number one, what are the plans afoot to reduce IFFs, the illicit financial flows? I just want to make a very strong point that the Zimbabwe Anti-Corruption Commission, the ZRP, and the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe. Sorry, there is an NDPASIP. The Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe and the Financial Intelligence Unit, which is housed at the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe, have actually sat down. And so far, the fruits that are there on illicit financial flows are that it is now a little bit difficult for anybody to transfer money from Zimbabwe to any offshore bank now, because there is a serious monitoring which is now there. This is why you see my colleague was talking about our dollar stabilizing. We did that with EcoCash. And the idea was to put stringent measures on how people are transferring money through EcoCash. And this has been heightened to any money that is going outside. What is remaining a little bit a problem now is the finance that can be moved from one person from another internally if it does not go through a bank. That one in the roadblock, tipa. But it's Zamawaya. Pachokwada, Chabudiriri, Chinetato Zone. That was my answer to question number 1. Then to question number 2, which spoke about whistleblower protection. Right. The Zimbabwe Anti-Corruption Commission this year made a lay bill on the Whistleblower and Whistle Protection Act. This is now almost complete, and I want to believe by now the Attorney General Vakapedza Basarao. What is left and was delayed by COVID was taking it to Parliament. So very soon, all whistleblowers, all our witnesses will be protected. We want kuti kana mapedza kuriwa mhosva yenyu musazovictimizwa. Kune dzimwe nyika unototsvakirwa pokugara kana pamba kana everything. So this is what we have actually inputted in that, and we want to believe that the act very soon inenge yava kushanda when Parliament resumes. I thank you. I don't want to preempt that, but what we know about awarding is that it should not be somebody's business. Kuti every time ukaya nhasi wa whistleblower takupa 10 million. Mangwana wauya futi wa whistleblower takupa 10 million. The issue lifestyle audit. Yes, this is already in progress. Our participants may want to know that we have actually taken into consideration and also adopted some of the things that ZIMRA is doing. Currently, the model that is working very well in Zimbabwe is the ZIMRA model. So it is now there, but it is yet to be effected throughout the service wide. It is now there, but not yet in effect throughout the service wide.
Thank you very much, Doc. Let's clap hands for that. We still have a question to be answered. Yes, Empower Bank representative.
Thank you so much. I will respond to the question whether you are able to open account as of now. We have different types of accounts. Savings accounts. Can you hear me? Yes. Savings accounts that you will not be able to open as of now, because we will need you to provide your proof of residence, your passport photo, and your copy of ID. But if you have got your proof of residence, we'll be able to take a picture and your ID as well. Then we'll open it for you. We'll call you and give you the details. What you'll be able to open as of now is what we call a light account. With a light account, it's a transactional account. You'll be able to get your ATM card, which you'll be able to use at any POS machine. For that account, we need your copy of ID. If you do not have the copy of ID, we can take a picture of your ID if you have the ID with you. For the company account, we need you to provide all the company registration documents. For the other accounts, we do have all the forms. If you need to open the accounts, we'll give you the forms. Once you complete them, you can submit them to any of our branches. If you will not be able to access us, we'll be able to come and even collect the forms for you. So as of today, you come and open the light account. For those who need the other accounts, you can get the forms, then you submit them with all the required documents. Thank you.
Loan application?
Loan application is done after you open the account. And for the light accounts, you'll not be able to apply for a loan with the light account. So once you open the light account, when you want to do the loan application, you upgrade your account to a normal savings account. Thank you.
Let's clear that for I think a light account, it's just light. So, you can't expect more, It's very light. Okay, maybe let me just open the last episode. which is 2 minutes for the questions. I also want to announce that there are some questionnaires on your tables. I kindly ask you to respond to that, especially those who are our participants. So our speakers and other officials may be spared. We want especially those who are from Mashonaland East. That's an opportunity for you also to contribute toward the national programs. So we would want feedback from you, and analysis will be done, and a document will be made and reported as part of our reporting process. Any more questions, or if we are done, then okay.
Thank you for the day. My only question is concerning the audience we are having here. And Mashonaland East is a very big province. So on the attendance part of it, given this importance of the deliberations which have been given here, the information especially from the Ministry of Finance, Zimbabwe Anti-Corruption Commission, among other people who took their presentation maybe before even got here. So I'm worried about, especially on the youth, many of them, you find they are not here. Is there any mechanism whereby you are going to disseminate this information to the youth in Imudzi, in where are there, maybe just heading cattle, so that he can have access, especially to the resources which have been dispersed by the Minister of Finance? You would find that, 2 years to come or even 6 months to come, someone may not be aware that there is a money which is lying idle to the bank and even to other organizations there. And you find the people whom they just went through school, you find some of them becoming millionaire whilst they just having no in account with $2, only not in this world.
Thank you very much, sir. I think I will refer that to the director of Zimbabwe Youth SDG to take note. Yeah, let's get more questions, then we'll just have a round to respond to.
Thank you. I'd like to know, how can a young person participate in the voluntary national reviews about the SDG reports, the progress reports? If I want to participate or even contribute, how do I go about it? What is the process?
I'm sure public service is taking note. Thank you. Very important question. I also want to believe that from all the presentations, we have realized where youth can come in. If we haven't, we are about to close. Yes, go ahead.
Afternoon. So thank you for this opportunity. My name is Prince Mutizira. So I have a question for Ms. Chaturika. She said when they were coming up with the NDS1, they made sure that every sector or every individual is included somehow. Since due to COVID, they weren't able to reach almost everyone. So my question is, what is it? Have they put some measures in place to make sure that those people that were representing the people who weren't reached by that get the information, we couldn't reach you. Or if there are any changes to be made or any more contributions to be made, or it's something that's fine now. And she also said a powerful statement that whatever you do, make sure they fit into the sector. There are some people who don't even know about the SDGs or in the rural areas there, but they're doing a lot. They're contributing a lot to the achievement of the SDGs. What is it that is being done to maybe recognize those people and maybe encourage them to get, because if you check the venue of this conference is such that even someone who is far can't reach this place. Right? These organizations, these conferences that are held in hotels and where the poorest of the poor, which are, I believe, the actual drivers of the sustainable development goals, can't reach.
Okay, I think that can form part of the data collection process in terms of inclusivity, how the coverage of the SDG data collection process, possibly the public service representative can take us through. Maybe I will now give him the opportunity to, there is another hand. Yeah, last question, please.
Sorry for the latency. I think this question to me is very important. I want to refer it to Mr. Magiga. I think when you are addressing the issue of corruption, Zimbabwe has since grown to becoming a state that is institutionalized. There's corruption that is institutionalized corruption, whereby corruption starts from the bottom up to the top. Kusvika kuvana takutongoziva kungoti kana kuti zvinhu zvako zvifamba unofanira kunge une chiruoko muhomwe, ukasvika kumapurisa unofanira kuti ubvise. Saka mubvunzo wangu uri pakuti measures amakaita chero nemalawmakers ekuti if we really want to put an end to corruption, which laws have you put kuti kana munhu akaita uori zvitori displayed kuti kana munhu akaita uori sezvavanoita kuna togura maoko kana todi, so that when someone does that, zvakatoiswa paexample pamanewspaper zvinobuda vanonyatsotoona kuti uori wakadii wakashata pane kuti mabata munhu ane 6 kgs the gold, and then it makes noise for the first 6 weeks, but then the 7th week hatichazivi kuti judgment yakazopuwa ndeye, the following day we see those people roaming around the streets. So we want zvinhu zviri my examples are very practical kutoziva kuti uyu munhu aritori mujeri ari kutopika, if it means to have my reviews ekutomboona mapictures through social media kuti uyu akasungwa gore rakati ari kutopika makore akasara ari mangani ari 5, rather than kuti we just make noise about corruption but really nothing that is being put into practice which really makes sense, because tinozongoti tingotaura tingoparidza we are having meetings but at the end of the day we are not seeing results. Saka malawmakers measures zamakaisa to address such an issue ndeapi?
Yeah, very important. Okay, so responders, our speakers, please respond to the questions, then we close this session.
Okay, thank you. I will first respond to the question on how can the youth contribute to SDGs reports that include the VNR reports. Firstly, some consultations were done, and these consultations were covering everyone, including the youth. And consultations for the VNR are going to be done, I think, early next year. So we'll be covering all the 10 provinces. But, on such national programs, it is not easy to reach everyone individually. So we encourage that, especially the youth, there are many established forums that you can use. For example, we have the Ministry of Youth, they have district offices. So you can engage them and share with them how you are contributing towards the achievement of SDGs. We get reports from the Ministry of Youth. And you can also go through the Zimbabwe Youth Council. You can go through the Zimbabwe Youth SDGs and other civil societies that are dealing with the youth. So I think, yes, the Ministry of Women Affairs also, there's got some programs that they are running. But what? Then I think through those established structures, you can contribute to the clusters that are relevant to the initiatives that you are undertaking. What is being done to encourage the youth to contribute to SDGs? I think this is an area that we need to strengthen, especially on awareness raising among the youth, not only the youth, everyone, because the principle is leave no one behind. But we have also engaged the traditional leaders, especially for those who are in rural areas. Traditional leaders and community leaders. We are going to work with them and see how we can engage the community. Last year, I think some of you participated. We collaborated with UNDP and Youth Elevate to have a competition for the youth who are engaging in activities that are aimed at achieving SDGs. And there were some adverts on national television, on radios, social media, where we were saying submit photographs or a short video of what you are doing to achieve SDGs. I think that competition was run last year, and we hope in the future we will have many of such. Thank you.
Okay, I'll take the question on how we are planning to disseminate the NDS. All right, as Ministry of Finance, we've got a program, we've got a communication strategy that we have already crafted, where we are also engaged, we are going to engage the UN, we are going to engage the World Bank, we also have a budget from our national budget for the Economic Planning Department as well as the Communications Department, where we have allocated funds towards dissemination of the NDS, and where we are planning to go to districts and wards. Because if you have checked last year, we had a program where we were disseminating the TSP, where we went out there in all the provinces. Here in Mashonaland East, we went to Kotwa. That's where we had our meeting. We engaged even the Deputy Minister of Finance. We took him to Kotwa to explain the achievements, the challenges that we have faced during the TSP implementation phase. And we are taking it further as we are to implement NDS1. We want to engage and we want to disseminate the NDS to the grassroots. And in addition to that, we have also come up with some programs where we are saying, in as much as we have failed to come to the grassroots, we will engage various stakeholders, and we have also had the program Maichi Samba Show. It was only last Tuesday. We had a recording in Gweru with Maichi Samba, where we are trying to engage various platforms. We will also go to radio. We will also go to any other Facebooks. We have Facebook. We will have Twitter handles. We will also have WhatsApp. Even now, we are sharing the NDS through WhatsApp, so that it goes as far as possible and reaches all everyone. So we are trying that we disseminate it to the grassroots, and we are doing that. It's under process. We are doing it.
And maybe this is also another information dissemination platform, which I think is very viable.
Thank you very much. I think I can proceed. This was a very good question, but it is important that as ZAC, we make it very clear that number one, ZAC does not make any laws. Two, ZAC can only work within the limits of its own mandate. Why am I saying this? Our mandate, in as far as investigation and prosecution is concerned, ends with the handing over of a docket, a well investigated docket, to the National Prosecuting Authority. Now, the NPA, once it takes the baton stick, it works with the Judicial Service Commission. These are two entities which are believed to be having experts in their own right. Now, they know when to bring somebody to court and how to do it. But what ZAC can only do is to make sure that we encourage JSC and NPA to expedite the cases that are already in the courts. But that we can say we want this one to be jailed today. The Constitution does not allow us to do that. But I think some kind of groundwork has been done. We are now working together, and the cases are now being somehow expedited. We want to believe in the near future, we can actually see a turnaround where we have the three entities have to agree that for a case of this complication, can we have it in less than 2 months, if it is possible? That has to be agreed upon. But as it is now, we leave it to the anti-corruption courts, which have been established in all provinces, and the experts called by the name of the NPA and JSC. We cannot interfere. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I just wanted to share that it's actually very difficult because we know the province is so big. We could not reach to everyone. But what we've managed to do is all these sessions are being recorded. We're going to preload them on the Facebook and other social media handles. All the people that applied to attend the event, including names that we received from the Minister of the Youth, Sports, Arts and Culture, including other civic society organizations, they're going to be given data through a sponsorship from the World Bank to allow them to view this live broadcast in Mashonaland East. We selected 50 young people from Mashonaland East who are going to benefit from that. I think the numbers that have been collected, they've already been sent to the respected people. And we hope tomorrow they should be able to connect to this platform. Let's continue to engage on our social media platforms. And we believe this is just not the first time and the last time. There should be community structures happening in Mashonaland East, so that when you have your own initiatives, we're able to come in as well and also bring people that are going to be very, very influential and also supportive in whatever initiative that we have. We are young people. Any development agenda that excludes the youth is not sustainable. That's the reason why we need to have our energy directed in the direction of development, which the government has set a tone, which each and every one of us to be able to be part of it. We are the government. The government is the people, and we are the people to contribute. And we believe with you and us, and also the Minister of Tertiary Education, let's leverage on innovation. Let's leverage on climate change. Let's be hard workers. I have seen the pointers from the NGS one. One of our critics was looking at it and say it's actually stipulates that young people should take in this culture of hard work and honesty. It was a very painful observation to chew. But we all believe in it because nothing comes for free. We have to work hard. Let's go and do something so that we can be seen as young people that are influential in our communities. To our traditional leaders, to our religious leaders, to our councillors. You should know your councillor. You should know your sub-buku. You should know your chief. Not by that you see that there's a young man. He should know you by name. Why? Because you go to him and say, we know that chief there is from Vutsa. What can we do to assist you in the work that we have? Volunteer to be a person who's going to add value to a community. Even at institutions, we've got doctors here. Go to them, are you doing any research? Do you need anyone to run around with some of your work? Well, that's how you start developing by volunteerism. Believe you me, civic society might not have the money that you think it has. It's about volunteerism, the passion to develop and make impact on people's lives so that they can change. Any development agenda that excludes the youth is not sustainable. We appreciate the role of the government, especially His Excellency, the President of Zimbabwe, who said, let's have an open door policy. Young people should be able to be engaged. Let's knock at doors. When they don't open, then we start saying, but you're not opening a door, but you said you should come and knock. Imagine today we've got the Minister of Finance here, because we just went there and knocked the door. There's no money paid anyway. It's voluntary. They said, if they are youth, let them come. They went to Zak, they're here with their own fuel. Zimbabwe is here with their own fuel. What is their mandate to ensure that you and me can live a better life and take Zimbabwe to the next stage? Thank you so much for taking too long. I think it's actually poor Ramanji.
Thank you very much, Director. And I want to take this opportunity to extend my gratitude deeply to the speakers and also young people who have made efforts to come to this platform. No one was really supported financially, but it is through passion to develop our nation that we find this a very critical moment and spared everything and think we should be part of this drive. We have scheduled a tree planting session. I don't know whether the weather will allow us, yeah. But my point is we have a representative from Yeuka Youth which was the organization that has also donated some of the plants. And also we have got some plants from the Forestry Commission. You see, we always keep engaging those government ministries and departments. There is no way you can be a Zimbabwean and be against the Zimbabwe that you are part of. And think you can develop. You can only go fast, but you won't go far. Okay, so we are saying I would want to kindly ask you, as I asked Tapiwa, to come and give us a word on the value of tree planting, even though we will not have a session to do the practical work, but at least we need to appreciate the essence of tree planting, just to recognize their effort in the donation process. Before I call Dr. Ole to give us the closing remarks. Let's clap hands. Mr. Tapiwa.
Magadi mese. Mash East way. Akatransipa wagenga. Mash East way. Group dozi tapwa manyame. Leader we Yeuka Youth Organization. Treta uzvimanisa zvematrees zvidzidziswa neministry, forest ministry, ema topashina nayo. Saka zvichadangotaurawo ndechekuti ngatidyare miti environment matigere. Miti ndo life, ndo upenyu. Kana uri pamba pako usina kana muti, kana kuti muri 11 hapana zvamuri kuita. Nokuti kuve neutano hunge muri 11 mine miti kana 3 payadi pamuri kugara. Kana kusinga naye chaiko tikatora sticker tikaisa pagwindu pamba penyu, unoona paine dust rakawandisa. Kuratidza kuti mwana tiri kufema unakunaka uziye kuti mukati melife yatiri kuita sei yatiri kurarama. Enge chiripo nekuti Yeuka Youth tiri vana ve-SDG, tiri vana veZimbabwe Youth Council, vanouya vachitibatsira vachitipa maadvices. Vanhu maleaders vari pamberi pedu ngatitembei navo. Kana ivo vegovernment vari pamberi pedu ngatitembei navo. Zvakawanda tinoenda tinochema, ende tinonokawo madosi kuti tive pano tichiuyawo takaenda tikanonoka kuti please tikudoyo tine mayouth atina mucommunity tiri kuita zvakati. Apa ndikuencourage kuti mayouth ngatisagare chete, ngatiende mumaoffices avo. Ana Mr. Zana, Mr. Mangwana anotaurika nawo. The ministry emaforestry vese vanoita sei? Vanotaurika nawo. Asi tikaramba isusu takagara toramba tichicomplaina chete kuti sei mayouth tisiri kunzi, sei mayouth tisiri kunzi. Vanobatsira. Kana isusu tichitoda ma-black papers aya vanototi kuti tiite maplantation atingedaita sei atichida kuita. Chimwe chandida kutaura seYeuka Youth partnership kuona ma17 ngatipartner. Mimi kamuda kuredza masabhuku mucommunity menyu. Hapana sabhuku anoramba kana kansela pachida kudyarwa miti. Host tese tokufighta climate action. Life on land. Tadyara miti wozokwanisa kutaura zvauda kutaura vanozvinzwisa nokuti vanenge varipo. Hatisi kuti vemiti chete ndo vakakosha. Every OS yakaita sei? Yakakosha. Sisi tiri kutaurawo kuti kana muchida maronga tinouya nemiti tokupai. Data program.
Once again, let's give this a round of applause. This is very important. So we have got Dr. Ole. Dr. Ole. So just want to give this opportunity to give us the closing remarks.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Mine is very easy, but I know people are now like looking. I will watch it at 1 minute, but just for 2 seconds, my youth is searching for smoke in the scope of Kunamangwan. They got SDGs. You not Tiripo. They got Tiripo, not SDGs. SDGs. Tiripo. SDGs. Thank you so much. Can you sit down? Thank you so much. That's this is the first, provinces, but it's on the statues for Ukutanga. It was a very organized, event, because first we really we wanted to know why we are here, what we're supposed to do, and that's what was said by the director Mangwana. Then we also heard from Misty. We also heard from Misty Nemara, where he was actually telling us about, the goals of SDGs, and he was actually looking at from the, it's not a Zimbabwe theme. That's what I've actually discovered. It's from the global. Then Trugutipa global, where are we? We are taking part from that global. And then you're saying from that global, what are we going to do? We have got priorities. We're saying today, Shakawanda, Shakatalwa, SDG, but what are we going to focus as Zimbabweans, right? And they're saying as Zimbabweans, we have got some goals that we are going to focus on. And so there's that alignment that we need to do so that these goals can be achieved. There's that integration that we need to do for these goals to be achieved. And of course, like he said, we eventually, we have got targets. We have got, I like the way they were actually looking at it with cinema targets that have to be done. We have got the targets, but we have this, we want to know how we're going to do these targets. So at the end of the day, we actually want to also have partnership so that these targets can be fulfilled. I think, thank you so much, Mr. Nab. That was very educational. And, like he said, that it's actually a global blueprint, and Zimbabwe is part of the global. Then, of course, with all that, we also wanted to see Kuti Susuma youth, where do we fit in terms of from the finance and economic perspective, and in terms of what is available for us. And that was done by Mrs. I like that word. I thought I'd grown and I'd known the word was like a teacher on Okawandisa, but Kuti Celosius. That was a good So Celosius now was coming. She was now coming from this, from this perspective that it's also Sema Youth. We have got probably the National Development Strategy. And she was saying, Vataura ma billions, billions, where the government is actually concerned about us. Like she said, we can take advantage, kuyuth tiriko, kuyimen, bamwevacho tiriko, and it kuma universities tiriko ndatofarira fani patalwa ye innovation hub, and there were also some billions there, and most of us here we're kushpik, we're all youths here, so we can take advantage of that. Pane umwe munhu achabvunzwa kuti pano manga muchiita nezvechi oti mheno zvanga zvichingotaurika, but ndatoona engo yangu ndatoona kuti alright pa innovation hub all right inoticha new product development so ndosaka tiri panapa, so that at least we also take advantage of these things. And sometimes it's like people are there to complain, people are there to look at Amazon and people are there to look at like he said, but what are you doing about your life? Are you developing yourself? But it's been there for probably for some time, and it's so that it is not develop. And as youth, like Silosius was saying, we actually have to open eyes and take advantage. We actually have to look at opportunities. In the environment, there are opportunities. From Shanga Chitaura about this million, this dollars, it's also changes the idea. So the limitation is not money. The limitation is your brain. How far can you see? Or how far, what can you think so that at the end of the day, you develop you develop a proposal, a proposal. And you know what? Sisi the pataura jema billions. The bandafara because kudzava we are tora jemari. Akati susu tiri bengire mari. And this ati tiri bengire mari. We are there for you guys. We are there for you. Come and we'll give you money. And this so I'm sure we've benefited. So that we have to look, we have to have that eye that looks at an opportunity. Let's not have an eye that always look at it and blame it and look at it as a threat, but look at it and see how do I fit. Per billion, for empowering, where am I going to get in? So that I also have that catch of what they were saying. And then because we have not manje, mama we bataura ibavo, that doctor for sure. I hope this put out this off. Corruption. Whatever ideas that are going to come up with, remember, make sure that these ideas that are going to come up with, so that you support the SDGs. Make sure that whatever you're going to do will not cause you to collapse and die. You're actually going to do things according to the law. So thank you so much. It was very wonderful. We really enjoyed it. And thank you so much. I hope I'm not talking too much. But, because but thank you so much, the organizers. We are very happy and we appreciate what you've done for us. Even everyone that participated, we thank you so much and may God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Doctor. If you have managed to change your title to that, then we always have the patience to give you the platform. Let's clap hands for the doctor. I think we have now come to the end of our program, and I really want to appreciate once again for coming. Accepting the invitation was the greatest honor that you can always give us. So let's share this event through our various social media platforms, hashtag whatever, and we make sure that we spread the word of the good things that we are that is being done. Let's sure we tag the key the key organizations that are present here, the ZAC, the Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Public Service, wherever we are all doing all these communications, and also those tertiary institutions as well as the Empower Bank, the Zimbabwe Youth SDGs. Let's make sure we tag. That's how we disseminate information, through leveraging on the digital, technology that we do have. So possibly by the virtue of authority vested in me,